too much truth out there that's got to be revealed, that we can't take the people that are in it for the money to be the ones, steering our boat. Just no more, and I know you feel the same about that. But at the same time, I'm very forgiving of the people that are there's a group of people within the UFO community that are being abducted, and I don't know whether they're being taken by the military or if they're truly aliens or what's going on, because to be very honest with you, I am a contactee.
Okay.
But I've always said it was angels.
Okay.
That's what my grandmother told me it was, and that's where I go with it, and I talk about it when I give a talk. It's always about, are my angels aliens or my aliens my angels? I don't know, but whatever they've done with me, it's been all wonderful and great, and I've never had anything horrible happen to me that I know of.
I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. Not everyone has that story. And
Exactly.
Hey, listen, there are plenty. The majority of people in my life, like the majority of people in the world, are people of faith, and people that have had amazing experiences, synchronicities. My mom always, is a brilliant woman and a brilliant attorney, but she still says 9 times out of 10, when something goes right on a case or something goes right in her life, she knows that there was an angel looking out for her, and
Exactly.
so it's all beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's all good. So, but there are those people that, they just keep making up stories to get a buck, write a book, do this, do that, get paid $1,000 to be at an event, whatever it may be. And it's time that those people get called out. And that leads us pretty much to the Corey Good stuff that's been going on. Now, I haven't told this live on air. Yes, I have told this live on air. And I'm going to tell you about it, CW. You're going to enjoy this.
Okay.
Back in the day, you can blame me for this, and all of our listeners can blame me for this if they want, but I still think it's the best work I've ever done, is I did put on the 3 Super Soldier conferences. I know
this. Yes.
Yeah. And I did bring in some of the people that are very much in question, but I also brought in people like Kevin Annett, Judy Byington, the guy, Dr. Ross in Texas. What's his name? It's evading me. The computer guy that was on the Jesse Ventura show, Robert Duncan. Robert's been great. I brought in what I called the scientific end of it, and the results end of it, which is, what are these people saying that happened to them? You can take it or leave it, but you still need to hear their stories. And then the people that say, oh my God, these people are telling you the truth as they know it, because I developed that program. So I did a lot with targeted individuals. I did a lot of things. But having said that, when I was back doing those conferences, I was getting phone calls from guys all the time. And everybody here knows on this show now, because I finally revealed it about 2 months ago.
Stop ragging. Stop ragging and getting calls from guys all the time. I know you.
Oh, God, I know. I love it. But these guys were the guys that were like, I'm a super soldier, and I'd be like, oh, my God. Okay, what? Tell me your story. And at one point, I was dealing with Carrie and Bill quite a bit in the beginning. Yeah, Bill Ryan, I love him dearly. And I think since Bill put me on that hit list, the Dark Alliance hit list or whatever it was that came out.
Which one? I mean, there's been so many. I mean,
It's the one that Bill put out. It was the very first one that came out. Bill created it, and it was I was number 4 on the list. And here's the reason why. And it took me years to figure this out, and meeting Corey Good like 3 times to figure this out. Somebody called me from Texas with 2 kids and a wife back in the time when he was living in Texas, back in the old Avalon days, and said, hey, I'm a super soldier, and I did this and I did that. And I remembered something about being taken in time and being put back, and this whole story, right? And at the very end of the story, CW, this is where I have this has absolutely happened, okay? And I don't know for sure it was Corey Good, but I can tell you now, I know it probably was, because he won't talk to me, won't look at me, he won't have anything to do with me, and I'm pretty sure this is why. And what he said to me at the last part of the conversation, which really got me like, okay, I can't ever talk to this guy again. He says, "I need to be famous."
Oh, really?
And I said, yes. And I said, I don't make people famous. That's not what I do. But, you know, you could make yourself whatever you want to be, but isn't telling the truth more important?
For some.
I always end it with these guys, right? And it was like, okay, whatever. And then I would never call that guy back again. There was a line I got to, there were very few people that got through that line. The story had to be very compelling. It had to have some scientific legs behind it. And Dr. Ross and Robert Duncan had to kind of say, well, that could have happened, you know, kind of thing, before I could get them further than, you know, a phone call.
Right.
So I am absolutely sure, because 2 years later, I'm at a conference and I go up to Corey Good, a friend's trying to introduce me to him, and he won't look me in the eye. He refuses to look me in the eye, refuses to basically talk to me, kind of ignores me and grunts at me, and then turns around and walks the other direction. Now, that could be me with a lot of conjecture on my part. I don't know, but maybe he's just that way. I don't know, but I don't think so.
Do you remember the contact details of the guy that reached out to you? Because sometimes Corey Good is famous for a lot of things, but having a very, very profound imagination is not one of them. So people have kind of put together that, you know, his name is, you know, Corey James Good. So there's a lot of James Good stories floating around.
The guy's name was James. It was James. He didn't tell me his last name. That's the other part to it. And he wasn't very, he was very dull on the phone. I remember that. I thinking, well, that's a pretty, you know, I'm a contactee, you know, it wasn't anything special. Okay.
Right.
He did say something about time travel that piqued my interest, and that was it. And wasn't much. And then he got into this whole thing about how he lost his job at a computer or IT company, you know, and then all these things were going on. They didn't have any money, and then I want to be famous, you know. So, you know, I guess David Wilcock was the next one on the list.
Well, listen, you know, the thing is this, is that I always want to say, you want to be, you know, because it is what it is. I mean, you know, you got your intuition. You definitely have reasons to believe that it could have been him. I mean, I got to tell you something, not to be, you know, cute about it, but if it's dull and wants to be famous, it's kind of, you know, hits his MO. I mean, that was the allegation, was that without prompting by a guy like David Wilcock or Jimmy Church, Corey Good, especially in the beginning, had the tendency to sit on stage like the proverbial dead fish.
Oh God, I know. It was unbelievable. I was always in shock that people were so adamant. I almost got beaten up in line going to one of his events because I told the guy I was with I didn't believe him.
Really? Oh wow!
Yeah. This lady turns around with her boyfriend and says, "What do you mean you don't believe him?" I said, "Well, I don't." And it just got ugly. My friend pulled me out of the line, CW, because he's afraid I would go after these people, like verbally, like they'd never survive it, right?
So for a minute there, I didn't know if the story was that they needed to be scared of you or you needed to be scared of them.
Oh, my friend knew they needed to be scared of me. He grabbed my arm and said, "Hey, we'll do it later," you know, whatever. And he's grabbing my arm and pulling me out of the line because I was ready to lay into them about how I knew exactly what, you know, the real deal was. And so anyhow, it got ugly. But anyhow, enough about that part of the story.
I guess it's cheaper than paying your bail at the end, at the back end. It might as well just pull you out of the line.
Yeah, no, he says, we're getting out of here now. I'm like, okay. Because I knew I was about ready to lose it. You know how you get so mad that you start shaking?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was right at that point. I was like, this is really making me angry. I better get out of here. So anyhow, okay. So back to you for a little while. Then we'll circle back around to the Super Blue Chicken Nugget gang of thieves. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, so wonderful. So now, how did you start your YouTube channel, and what was your impetus to do so? Because I want to know more about you.
Hey, listen, I like to talk, and I love to talk about myself. I don't mind, I don't have any dreams of becoming famous necessarily, but I could tell you the backstory, and I could certainly talk.
Famous, Speedy.
Oh,
You're
yeah, I
at
know.
least infamous. I can tell you that.
Medium-sized fish in a teeny tiny pond. That's what we all are, right? Well, listen, I mean, I was, but I'm not too big for my britches. When I'm telling everyone on Twitter, I'm like, I'm going to be on the Fenton Perspective. So,
they were like, who? What? You poor? Yeah, they were thinking you're slumming.
Hey, listen, you know what I mean? Well, at least they're saying it to me like you're slumming, not like they usually say to me on a Monday night, like you're slumming again, aren't you? You're out there in the streets.
Oh, God, you're killing me. Yeah. You're too funny. I swear to God, you make me laugh so much. I listen to you and I just crack up, man. It's unbelievable. Your wit is amazing.
Well, thank you.
Anyhow, your dry humor, I would call it. Yeah, you're wonderful. So, okay. So how did you really get started, though? I
mean, not a problem. I know we tease and we kid. So, like many people, I didn't discover YouTube when it first started in 2007. But by 2008 and 2009, I started to get a feel for it and really became very interested in the amazing amount of information that was there. I've been following this kind of the thrust of my channel really involves, two key interests in my life. I've got many interests like music and stuff, but many of the key interests in my life revolve around conspiracy theories, information, the way information is suppressed or potentially exploited, the unknown, and then also that dovetails as it so often does into my lifelong interest in spirituality, religion, theology, and philosophy. So even from my earliest days of hunting around in 8th or 9th grade, hunting around the used bookstores for things, I was picking up dog-eared copies of things about Aleister Crowley or about John Dee or about secret societies and the Freemasons. I was also picking up things about, conspiracy theories, the JFK assassination, et cetera, et cetera. And so when I oftentimes hear people in this community being like, oh, I got red pilled in 2008. I've been looking at this stuff since 2004. And I just want to say to them, homie, I'm not saying I'm the oldest guy out here, but I've been paying attention to this world since 1988. I remember when people used to get videotapes of Jordan Maxwell that were a dub of a dub of a dub from his appearance on the Prophecy Club or Fritz Springmeier. I remember, so it's been a while. So when I first started watching YouTube, which would have been in about, like I said, 2008, 2009, I was very much interested in the conspiracy end of things like Project Camelot, et cetera, et cetera. Alex Jones, of course, was a big name back then as well as some of the lesser players. And I was also, but my primary interest was in faith and religion and spirituality. So I was following a whole bunch of different Indian gurus. I was, watching, the broadcasts by people who were coming out of the Church of Scientology or who were involved in, esoteric studies or thelema or stuff. I was interested in cults and how they worked. So I was exposing myself to a lot of stuff about religion and spirituality. And finally, right shortly before my 40th birthday, I said to myself, after years of watching this stuff religiously, I mean, once I discovered, discovering, YouTube, forget about broadcast TV. I mean, it's like when cable first came on, when cable first came on, forget about the little channels. And when YouTube came around, I forgot about broadcast television almost altogether because it was just so fascinating.
Right. Hey, CW, I kind of keep losing you. You cut in and out a little bit with your volume on your phone. Okay. So just so you know.
Let me try and see if I could do something, bringing the phone a little bit closer to my mouth and see if that helps. And I'll try to be, I'll try to be a little bit more consistent. Can you hear me better this way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Much better. Yeah.
Definitely tell me if that happens again, because I don't know if it's the broadcasting technology, but I'll do my best. I tend to be a
It
bit of an.
might be, you probably have the kind of mic that if you lean back so many inches, it just loses you. You
Okay.
know, that kind of thing.
I'll try. We'll keep it together, and if I ever fade out again or lose myself, you just tell me, reel me back in.
Don't fall down. Just don't fall down, because it will lose you altogether.
No promises. No promises. Okay.
Okay. So now you're looking at religions and
Yeah.
cults and all this stuff. So then what happened?
Well, so I'm very interested in these things, and I'm very interested in the empowering effect of the YouTube technology to, just like the internet, to democratize things. I hate typing, and I have to do a lot of typing in my day to day affairs. So I wasn't looking to start a blog post. I really wasn't looking to do that. But when I saw the technology and how it worked for YouTube, I said, this is something that I could do. So as an early 40th birthday to myself, I took the bull by the horns. I invested in a new laptop with a webcam, and I did it. I set up the channel, and I started to do videos, primarily just inching my way into the pool. I did, but things kind of exploded kind of early for me, because here's where I'll pick up the story. Where people first really discovered me was when I did a video about a guy called Shane the Ruiner. Do you remember Shane?
Oh yeah, I remember Shane the Ruiner. Is he still around?
Is he? I think the reports are that he's definitely alive and well and still living in Canada. But I think we can solidly say that he's left this scene behind. I don't think he's interested
I think so.
And I can't say that I blame him.
He was interesting, but I can never quite figure out what he was trying to tell me.
That's how Shane was. I mean, Shane's secret. I used to describe it all the time. I said, trying to have a debate with Shane the Ruiner was a little bit like trying to wrestle smoke, right?
You got that right, man. I could never. I would listen to a little bit of it. I'd be like, "What's this all about? What is he trying to tell me?" It was always so vague. I could never quite get it. But anyway, I'm glad you took on the smoke, man. That's great.
Well, and I'll be completely honest. I mean, really what it was jealousy, is that I was making my little videos, and I had just started. So I don't think I really understood how YouTube worked. And I thought that I was so brilliant that I'd start making YouTube videos, and immediately I'd have like a bajillion and one followers and subscribers and all this stuff. And it didn't happen. But I noticed this guy, Shane the Ruiner, coming out of Project Avalon with this, what I regarded as just being a work of absolute fiction, this blog that he had that a lot of people were really into and talking about. And I came after it. I did a point-by-point analysis of some early internet radio and YouTube appearances and interviews that he did. And that's where people kind of started catching on to me. And shortly thereafter, I started talking about, like I said, Corey Goode. I mean, my first video about Corey Goode is from 2015, really before he even started doing his first appearances on Cosmic Disclosure with David Wilcock. So I've been following this brother since Jump Street, and that's where I got a lot of traction. So pretty much all the people that people might know from the scene, I may have done a video talking about and analyzing. Guys like Jay, from small guys to big guys like Corey Goode, Shane the Ruiner, Jay Essex, Randy Kramer. I've done a whole bunch of videos on Randy Kramer, just talking about their stories, analyzing their stories, and why I'm skeptical, to say the least, about the veracity of the things that they report, and why I think there's a real problem with people being willing to not only just suspend their disbelief and give somebody a shot to think that there might be some information worth hearing in some of these stories, but rather taking it full on and making very important decisions in their lives based on what these guys are saying. And oftentimes what these guys are saying is just rehashed and recycled information that we've all been hearing before. The Space Brothers are around us. They have our highest our goals at they love us. They want us to eat high vibration couscous dinners and be more of service to others than service to self. And I get it, and that's beautiful, but it is what it is. And again, like I said, a lot of these people, I think, some people I don't talk about, because some people I think have amazing experiences because there might be something going on with them, whether it's something organic or whether it's something that they took or a lifestyle decision, you know. And then there's some people who that I think are really, 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 as the British would say, taking the piss, that are really just liars and chancers and tricksters in the worst sense of the word. People who I don't trust and I don't think anyone should trust. And these are the people that I concentrate on a lot. I also, while I have you here, I'm going to be totally forthright and honest. The purpose of my channel wasn't to talk about guys like Corey Good and Shane the Ruiner. The purpose of my channel was to explain people my individual faith, my individual practices, and I don't call it a teaching, but I call it kind of a spiritual philosophy and religion that I have called Commonwealth Chanting. So if people want to know who I am and where I come from, the purpose of my YouTube channel really was to express the crystallization of years and years and years of experience as a spiritual seeker, and a solution that I found that I thought other people could benefit from. And the talking about the other people is just, it's like kind of like what we do on our off hours. Even though that tends to be the thing that's most popular or people come around for, I always say, I'll be totally honest. I talk about guys like Corey Good so that people will come and hear the discussion and ask themselves questions about that stuff. But then every once in a while, I'll do a video about my faith and my religion to spread the word.
Cool. What is your faith and religion now at this point in your life?
Yeah, well, I am a Commonwealth chanter. I have a religion and faith that I put together over time, based on my experiences as a spiritual seeker. I've been involved with the Church of Satan, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Scientology, Adidam,
oh my God,
Swaminarayan Hinduism. I've been around the bend, and I've learned Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of different faiths, practices, religions, and cults. And based on my experiences there, the knowledge that I gathered, the things that I thought were worth preserving, and the things that I knew didn't work for me, I cobbled together for myself a religion called Commonwealth Chanting. And having discovered it and having formulated it, I found that it was a thing that I could export to other people so that it may do for them what it's done for me, which is giving me a simple touchstone, a simple series of practices that keep me on the straight and narrow. Here's the argument. A lot of times you'll hear people say, "Oh, I'm spiritual but not religious." And that's beautiful. But sometimes what happens is you end up like a leaf blown around in the wind. Some days you're doing this, some days you're doing that. There's no real consistency. So my faith and my religion is kind of like an exercise for spirituality. It's a simple series of things you can do, like getting on the treadmill. Not getting on the treadmill, but getting on the treadmill of spirituality. Reading a religious text every day, however you define a religious text to be, whatever you perceive to be a spiritual religious text, whether you concentrate on one religious text or you read a whole bunch of different ones, whether you read a sentence or a paragraph, a phrase, or the whole thing, you make a commitment to every day read a spiritual text and meditate upon it. You also make a promise to yourself to chant every day. I'm a Commonwealth chanter. Chanting is fundamental to my faith and my practices.
Oh wow!
And,
okay.
yeah.
Oh my God. Well, we're hitting our one and only break.
We're hitting the one and only break.
Yeah, if you can mute, I'm going to mute, and we'll be right back.
Not a problem. So I'm muted. I think I'm muted. Yeah, I'm muted. So we'll see what happens. How are we doing, folks? I see people in the live chat. For people who don't know, I'm a guest now on the Fenton Perspective with Lauren Fenton. She mentioned, she did a series of super soldier conventions. That's what she's really famous for. I know that. I'll lower that as much as possible.
Hello, my name is Mr. Rowe. I am the host of Reality Extraction.
Well, I'll just kind of talk over this stuff.
I utilize logic
I'll try and do that. See if it mutes it to a degree. It's not. Oh wait, let me see if I can do this.
Scrutinize and extract an essence of reality from a fog of illusion and confusion. Find me.
Beautiful. That does it. That does it. So, hey, so I'm on the Fenton Perspective, which is an internet radio show, and I got permission, and then they allowed me to also live stream it as well myself. So hopefully you're hearing everything. Yeah, I've the connection information is in the description box below. I might very well. The real Dan Hogan at SCW. Are you going to keep going live after the interview? I might very well. We'll see where the conversation goes, and we'll see how it happens. So Miss Fenton is her where I know her from is that I know that she knows Brandon Young, and I know that Brandon Young knows her, and I know that she did some work with. I believe she did some work with Douglas Dietrich, and she also did some work setting up what was known as these super soldier conferences. I believe in in Nevada or Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. And these were very interesting conferences where people like Max Spears showed up, James Casbolt. A lot of the landmark basis project interviews that came out, around 2014, 15, if not earlier, were filmed at her conferences, including maybe we'll get a chance to ask her about the famous James Casbolt story with James Rink, where James Casbolt apparently transformed into some sort of amazing, crazy creature and started wrecking up the joint and broke doors and stuff. And as we all know, James Casbolt is now in prison. If you want an interesting James Casbolt update, you can check out Ain Throbos's channel, You Don't Know. If you go to that You Don't Know channel, you'll see that he did a recent report where apparently Holly Baglio, a woman who has stories of being a super soldier, and she's very into her love of Jesus Christ, really into her love of Jesus Christ. Apparently got some disturbing correspondence from James Casbolt, who was serving time in prison in overseas in England. Anthropos reads the reports, and you can make of that what you will. What was the origin of these correspondences? Can we tell where these correspondences come from? Maybe we'd have to talk to Holly about that. Maybe we'd have to do an interview with Holly Baglio, I believe her name is. Many people know who she is. Some people may not. Any questions or concerns or people want me to bring up, tell me about it. Obviously, Lauren has some different perspectives about Mark Richards than I do. So hopefully that won't be a sticking point, and it'll make sense. Yeah, if Brandon Young was here, it would be great because he can add a very detailed perspective. He knows the players involved, and maybe I can name drop him to Miss Fenton, and maybe they'll ring a bell. And who knows? Maybe we can get Douglas Dietrich on the line. Though I doubt it. My understanding is that there might be some they no longer work together. To say it the best. So I hope everyone's having fun tonight. I hope we're having a good time, and we'll see what's going on. And I'll try and keep an ear out to know when we're going back. Here we go.
Here on Revolution Radio, and also replayed over at Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network.
All right.
And it's on Wednesday nights, right after Heather Wade on The Kingdom of Nye. I think that's the name of her show. And it's wee hours of the morning, but it's always a great thing to listen to. So I hope you guys do that as well. Also, you guys all know it's that time of the show where I tell you we are a listener-supported network, and we really do need your help to keep us live here on freedomslips.com. We're there's 80 of us hosts over here. None of us get paid. None of us A lot of us lose a lot of money being here. I just want you guys to know that. And poor Nighthawk, he has to sit there behind he's slaving away behind the computers and those hot fans blowing hot air on him. You know, he's there every day, every night, trying to make sure the network's up and running. So I do hope you guys appreciate all that. And if you could donate over at freedomslips.com, hit the donate button and give us a little chunk of change. If you want to help us out, and this is my favorite way for you to help us out, and you want to help us out on a monthly basis, the best thing to do is join the archives. That way you can take me in the shower with you. You can take me to the nude beach with you. You can take me in your car with you. You can take me anywhere with you. I'll be chanting in your ear just like C.W. Chanter does. So there you go. So if you please hit the archive button, it's $5.95 a month, and we'd love to have you listening to me wherever you're at, and also all the other great hosts here at Revolution Radio. So thank you all for that. Thank you all who donate regularly. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for all those who are going to sign up for the archives today. And when you do, please put a note in there so Nighthawk knows in the PayPal, there's a little note area. Just say, I'm doing this because of Lori and she made me, or something like that. That'll be perfect. All right, guys, thank you very much. All right, back to our guest today, C.W. Chanter, the guy, the enigma on YouTube. He's so cool. I hope you guys are going there. Now, how do they find you on YouTube? They just type in C.W. Chanter.
C.W. Chanter. Yep, listen,
That's
I'm C.W.Chanter. If you hit search, you're going to find me. And oftentimes, if you hit Corey Good, you're going to find me. Or if you hit Blue Avians, or if you hit Simon Parks.
Well, that's what
I'm all over the place. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember. I put in Corey Good controversy or trademark controversy or something like that, and you popped up right at the top. You and Dark Journalist, actually.
Yeah, no. If you want to find me, Dark Journalist, or Joe from the Carolinas, all you got to do is blank the name of whoever contactee, experiencer, or secret spice program whistleblower you want to, exposed. If you do that, we're going to pop right up, all three of us. If not, also Omnieros, another guy who works this this side of the fence, as it were. Shout out to all those guys.
That's interesting. Very cool. I do like the guy from Joe from the Carolinas. He cracked me up too. I laugh a lot.
He's the bane of my existence. Everybody loves Joe from the Carolinas. As I describe it, he's the Rolling Stones to my Howlin' Wolf. I'm pure blues music for 4 hours in your ear, and he'll take my broadcast and he'll sum it up in the important 12 minutes. And I tease the guy. I love the kid. You know what I mean? We're absolutely friends, and we're.
I love him, and you're right. He's like, quick, the quick cereal instead of the long cook oatmeal, like you are.
Yeah, I'm like the Rolling Stones. He's like the Archies. You know what I mean? He's like. He's like the boy band to my real rock and roll. What can I tell you? But hey, it's poppy. It's got a beat. You can snap your feet to it. You snap your fingers to it. So I guess that's all it takes now to be a big hit with the kids. All the kids love Joe.
Those cute little special effects that crack me up. Where his face will show up with his eyes bugged out, then he'll take it away real quick.
That's just how he looks. I swear to God.
I hope he doesn't take offense that we're sitting here talking about him tonight. I'm sure he's listening.
I'm sure he is too. I'm sure he's happy for the promotion. Joe from the Carolinas, absolutely check him out.
God. That's too funny. Okay, now let's get back. We were talking about the fact that you started out in YouTube because you were exploring different spirituality avenues and lots of things going on in your life. How did you end up becoming the guy that talks about the crazy whistleblowers out there?
I'll be totally honest. It was pure jealousy. I saw this guy, Shane the Ruiner, and I'm like, I'm giving out gold here. I've got ideas that make sense. I'm not telling anybody any wild, crazy, outlandish stories about my origin. I'm not saying I had a dream on the beach and an angel came and told me that I had a special message for the people. I resisted all of that and just decided to run on reality, to run on truth. And I got a little frustrated that guys like Corey Good and Shane the Ruiner were able to blow right past me with their highfalutin tales of being fantastic super saviors sent here by the Illuminati, trained by the Illuminati, but white hats, black hats, green hats, blue. And so I just started coming at these guys and talking about them. And like I said, I've always been interested in conspiracy theories since back in the day, and these ideas and these notions and ufology and what happened at Roswell and Area 51. And so it was a natural fit. I was talking about going to probably end up talking about these things anyway. And these things are interesting to me. It's really interesting to me, as we both know, because you shared a little bit about your experiences too. This world of research dovetails explicitly into the world of the paranormal, the unknown, and spirituality.
Absolutely.
And it seems to be a very interesting thing, because I think a lot of what we see happening with Corey Good now has to do with this uneasy balance. We all know I have the feeling, I might not be right, I might be wrong, that some of these people who want to have conferences that are just dedicated to the jet propulsion technology and the who, what, where, when, and how, and the nuts and bolts of the machines, and the reality, the so-called reality of it, want to have conferences that don't involve the psychic Sasquatch researchers and the people who speak
Oh,
to the
but
Space Brothers.
I got to tell you something. I went to all this, not the one in Texas. I was at the San Mateo Secret Space Program Conference, and it was wonderful. And I'm very good friends with Michael Schrad and Michael.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I love all those guys. And
Yeah,
they're amazing, right?
Yeah.
But it was a good conference, don't get me wrong. But there's nothing like sitting in the back row when somebody's talking about feeding Hershey bars to a Sasquatch, and you're like,
that's the money, right?
Could this be real? It just kind of twerks your head around, and you kind of go, well, I wish it was. And then you just got to feel for them, like, God, I hope this is real, And I walk away encouraged and happy when I hear those people talk, and I just go, that's so much fun. And, I never say it isn't real. What I say is it's real for them.
And that's a beautiful way to say it. You know what I mean? And my whole thing is that when, just like people who talk about angels in the atmosphere, or special messages, or Jesus really answering their prayers, the only problem that I ever have with it is when they start maybe making decisions in the real world about real nuts and bolts things, like who to vote for, or
exactly,
like
or how to trademark something,
you know what I mean, or what the Illuminati's is telling the people, or what the secret cabal arrests. And like I said, there's a lot of people out here.
I guess I'm a little more really on the fence than I ever thought I was, because if I hear one more person telling me that we're going to have this world global reset of money,
oh sure, yeah,
hope springs eternal. I just lose it.
Yeah, and people don't realize.
And the dinar. Do you remember the dinar?
The dinar. Remember the dinar? The dinar's still going on. You know what I mean? I pay attention. My YouTube subscription list is overflowing, because not only do I subscribe to people who I want to stay in touch with and who I want to stay updated about their new videos, I also have a lot of people to keep eyes on. And there's a lot of people that are still working the dinar angle, the White Dragon family, the Red Dragon Society, the global currency reset, the dinar, the Zim, the Zimbabwe currency getting revalued, and all this stuff. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is, don't take all your Bitcoin and turn it into Zim. Don't take all your gold and turn it into Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a financial advisor. All I know is that there's a lot of people, you and me are probably the same way. We've been around long enough to know that these things come in cycles. And the really sad thing is when you see a new generation of people and they think it's new. This whole
You're hitting on my biggest pet peeve. I am known for my rants here. I start ranting at 5 o'clock on Monday, and then I have another live show at 8 p.m. and I rant again at
God
8.
Bless you. There you go. Look.
And you know what? It's all about the fact that it's keeping me from getting cancer, because
you get it out.
And I'm getting it out. And I tell people, you don't understand if you don't know your history in this, whatever group you're in, because I'm well healed in the JFK society. Listen to me. The JFK community.
It's well official, healed. Right?
Ask anybody in the community that's a real researcher, you say my name and they'll all get a big smile on their face, okay? Because it's a long story.
Good. Well, I know the story. You take you're letting them take you to the shower or take you to the nude beach. I heard the promo.
No, I actually helped produce some of the first conferences in Dallas.
Oh, okay, interesting.
3 years. I helped Chris Milligan at Trine Day Books and Judith Berry Baker, Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend, put on these conferences in 13, 14, 15, 16. Anyhow, I'm not doing that particular conference anymore, but I do attend it, and all of the people there know me. Anyhow, long story short, it's so sad. I see all these people coming in and they're conjecturing and they're writing books about stuff. And I think, oh my God, Mark Lane wrote about that back, in the 90s, or William Pepper's already written about that and it's already been done. And these people all think they're on to the newest and latest, greatest answer. And I'm telling you, if you just read a little bit, do a little real research instead of just, I'm listening to YouTube this week and that's the only information I'm getting, then, it just makes me insane. CW, I go nuts. I scream about it all the time. And I'm glad to hear that that's your pet peeve too.
Yeah, well, it's a pet peeve, and then you also it's with the stuff, the people that think they're researchers or they think they're onto the latest thing. That's one thing. It's when people start getting involved financially or they're investigating different medical claims that you get a little bit concerned. Like I said, faith is faith and it's beautiful, and science is science, and that's wonderful too. And I think that the best we do is when we keep them a little bit separate, keep them in their separate categories. Don't ignore one, don't ignore the other. Take care of body, mind, and soul. But maybe don't take your medical advice about what to do about your cancer from a shaman. Don't necessarily take your advice about how to live a happy life from a pragmatic engineer. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Exactly. But I do have to say though, all of the people that I have turned on to alternative medicine with MDs behind their names, they don't do the conventional cancer research. All of the people I have turned on to these two doctors that I know of, that I send all my friends with cancer to, they're all still alive, and all the people that wouldn't listen to me are in the ground. So, there is something to be said about cancer. Cancer is a very interesting subject.
It is.
As you and I both know, it's one of the biggest economies in the United States.
I mean, it's very complicated, and this is one of the things we were talking about before when we were talking about whether or not I was going to be talking about the election cycle coming up. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and sometimes the temptation is for people, and I'm not speaking for anyone but myself and some other people I observe in the community. It's for myself is that I know this, is that it's tempting to look at these studies, look at these research, and then to have an opinion about it. I know what I know. I know this. When I'm sick, I go to the doctor. When I'm sick in my heart and soul, I go to a spiritual advisor, a trusted friend, or a guru. And like I said, it's complicated. The FDA is definitely absolutely riddled with problems that need reform. And then, but sometimes, it's like I always tell people, it's like the same thing with mainstream media. Just because the mainstream media has got problems doesn't mean that everyone in the alternative media deserves a Pulitzer Prize. You got to, as we say, practice discernment, be very careful, and be very careful of just picking up on reacting to things, following research because your heart resonates with it's true. The cure for cancer is the cure for cancer if it exists. I don't know if it exists. And like I said, it's very complicated. Sickness and disease and suffering makes people not only experience things physically, but you're going to experience things mentally as well, and that's going to affect people's judgment. And it's a mixed bag. Having said that, I know people that say that their journey with cancer also involved things like what was it? The faith healer out of Brazil, was it John the Divine or something?
John of God.
John of God. I have a very close personal friend who cancer survivor, who said that he had a very wonderful experience with one of those John of God crystal light healing beds. Even though,
Wow.
and even though I would think to myself when I think of John of God, I don't have a I don't personally. Look, I tend to be a bit of a skeptic. Having said that, I think that a person's journey through healing, you need to address what's going on physically with the doctors. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these people that thinks that every doctor is really part of a disgusting secret organization that only just wants to make money by killing people.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely. I mean, my doctor's wonderful. I love her to pieces. I
Well,
just
don't do that. Put her back together. She's gonna need to take care of you as you get older.
No, she's really wonderful, but a lot of times she'll tell me do this, do that, and I just won't do it because I know I've got an alternative that works better. But I always tell her, "Oh yeah, it worked wonderfully."
Well,
So
hey,
that she feels like she's getting me treated and everything's great. But that's only on little things.
Right.
I'm not gonna. If she said to me tomorrow, "Oh my God, you got cancer," I'd be like, "Okay, that's what do we do?" And I
Right.
follow the protocol till about the point where I realized that I had to get in the car and drive to my doctor in Reno that does nothing but cancer.
Okay. And everyone, look, and like I said, I am not a doctor. I'm not an MD. I'm not a DO. I'm not a certified acupuncturist. I don't have a degree in Reiki or reflexology.
Hey, you're
so
not a hypnotherapist too?
I'm no. Oh,
I
geez.
thought you were.
Well, I should. I've got my long-term game plan is if year by year, if your thing doesn't get off the ground, it's okay. Just go get a different degree. You could pick up, with most of these things, you can pick up your accreditation in about 72 hours, because that's how long.
Absolutely.
I wonder.
It kills me.
You just gotta wait for the check to clear, right?
It took me I swear to God, it took me almost a year of school, hard school, and now everybody just does it like the weekend online.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And every time you blink your eyes, they go up another level of Reiki healing. They're like, "Oh, a 5th level Reiki healer. Wow, you're a master accredited 9th level Reiki healer." Yeah, I'm a 22 level Reiki healer.
Oh, God,
there you go.
I know, it's pretty amazing to me. I swear to God, and I'm a bit older than you, quite a bit older, and I kind of laugh because people, until you've actually hit over 50, guys, and I'm well beyond that.
Why'd you hit 50 guys? Oh my God, that's terrible. They're gonna arrest you.
I'd love to hit 50 guys. That'd be so much fun.
Oh my God. We light work here. What's going on with you? You're loving people to pieces. You're hitting guys. Oh my gosh.
I know.
What did I wander into here?
Oh my God. Well, actually, we're having a blast. I told you we would because, we may not be all on the same page, but you know what? We're having fun rubbing the pages together. So that's good.
There you go.
Oh God. Anyhow, back to you because I really wanted the show to be about you, but we're going everywhere now. So you did this. You did it kind of out of jealousy about Shane the Ruiner, and then what happened? Because you become. How many followers do you have now on YouTube or subscribers?
Well, there recently has been a pretty big uptick that has a lot to do with look, when these things happen, let me try and figure out what's going on here so I can tell you. Hold on. I can actually get to the.
Give me numbers.
I can actually try and get to the analytics, see what's going on here. I'll tell you right now. Because I used to sweat these things and I don't really anymore. I've got. It should tell me.
Well, that's because a lot of personal things have happened in your life in the last year. So
yeah, and not only that,
it's the last 90 days you've been completely different person, actually, almost.
Well, and there's a lot of personal changes. You know that you mentioned that you liked my candor and honesty, and that's very important to me. Very, very important to me. And I don't know why I'm having. Oh, here's what I need: the dashboard. So I am. Look, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I tell people, "Ooh, I got 3,564 subscribers." Meanwhile, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, I always compare myself to the big dogs, like Simon Parks. I know has something like 11,000 subscribers on his personal channel. Corey Good has a bajillion jillion. Carrie Cassidy is like over, I don't know, like 100,000 or something. So I have my little piece of the pie, and it is what it is. And lately there has been an uptick. I guarantee you that there's been a massive uptick in following, really surrounding my coverage, that dovetails into the coverage of a lot of individuals regarding the ramification of what's happening with Corey Good and his
Well, you know what we haven't
trademark issue.
mentioned is you're an attorney.
Yes.
So your insight into it was spectacular. I gotta
thank
say,
you, thank you.
I come from one side of my family, and you know how it is. It's like it's pretty dry in a lot of ways, but you made it interesting. You explained everything, and it was just, I loved it. I highly encourage everybody to go back and. What was the first day you started this? Because I got in on the second day and had to go back and listen to the
Let me
first
see what's
day.
going on. I can kind of give you a feel for it. So it started. I mean, and it's been a wild ride because it just started a little while ago. It seems to me, even though I've been covering Corey Good for a while. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna put the phone down for 2 seconds.
Forget what you said. You said I'm going to come out here every day.
And you're helping me. I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes, I know. I knew that, and that's why I tuned in every day, because I was like, okay, let's see what CW's got to say. He knows he's got his, his thumb on the pulse.
Right.
This whole thing from a lawyer's perspective,
It was October 16th, 2018.
That's right. I caught it on the 17th, and I had to go back and play the day before.
Right, yes, October 16th. And what if people don't know how this latest round started, but like I said, I've been following Corey Good and criticizing Corey Good since 2015. I've known this guy since he popped out of the womb at Project Avalon. And this is round 3. If people don't know, if you've been following Corey Good, the Corey Good shenanigans, there was an initial controversy when he first came out regarding his first interviews he did with a woman by the name of Christine Anderson, and how those audio tapes got out, the nature of the things, and also the nature of his interactions with his fellow forum posters over at Project Avalon, as well as the allegation that he was data mining over at Project Avalon. So this guy was born under a bad sign. This guy was born under a bad. And I
remember, I didn't know it was him. You don't pay any attention. I don't pay any attention to anybody else posting ever. And I very seldom post myself. But I did read some of his stuff, and I just was like, okay, whatever. And what's really interesting about this whole thing, sadly, Bill Ryan did put together that clear audio tape of his interview, or Christine interviewing him.
Right.
So that, because I laugh because Bill basically, he started this whole thing by putting out that interview, and it's what caused the whole Corey Good train to get on tracks. So Bill only beat himself up for that one. I just kind of whatever.
Look, and here's the thing. My attitude about Bill Ryan, me and Bill Ryan have only had interactions via email, and they haven't necessarily been squeaky clean and nice. There's been some personal dust ups between me and him. God bless him. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and misunderstandings happen, and Lord knows I invite them with my very controversial kind of take on things. But what I'll say is this: is that I think he's changing over time, but he's been responsible for a lot of knuckleheads coming out on the scene. Project Avalon gave birth to not only Corey Good, not only Shane the Ruiner, but also that Azalea girl. I forget what her name was. The woman directly from Source. Something.
Oh yeah, I don't remember her name either.
Right. She came and went, and do you remember Charles, the Illuminati insider, Charles?
I do remember him. Oh, and I never believed a word out of his mouth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And there was Simon Parks as well. Simon Parks got his start on Project Avalon as well.
Oh, I never knew that. I thought
Yeah.
Simon popped up because Carrie paid attention to him.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. And that's not me casting aspersions. These are, if you go to Project Avalon or if you go to Above Top Secret, people talk about the things that they're interested in and the things that they care about. And it's going to be a scene where if someone's an exploiter, if someone's either being genuine about their desire to discover the true meaning of their MyLab experiences, or whether someone's looking to exploit a scene, Project Avalon was where a lot of people used to go back in the day. I think it's import as a forum kind of is changing as the internet's changing. When Project Avalon had its heyday, there really wasn't a Facebook. There was a MySpace, but that tended to be attract more younger cats and kittens. But now that you've got Facebook, I think that a lot of the oxygen has gone out of the room for a lot of forums, not just Project Avalon, but also Above Top Secret, like I said, and some of the other ones as well. One Truth blog, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's a community, it's a scene, and God bless it. And like I said, I don't wish ill or desire to cast aspersions on anybody. But back to Corey, and if you talk about Bill Ryan and Corey Good, you have to remember that the controversy with Bill Ryan and Corey Good was one of the first things that Corey Good did, Mr. Lightworker of the Year, when he got into a personal dispute with Bill Ryan that basically consisted of him being upset by Bill Ryan saying that he didn't believe in Corey Good's story. Was he essentially doxed Bill Ryan and found personal old lawsuits and dragged those back into the public domain. And that's a pattern of behavior that we've seen repeated with Corey Good. And that's why I stay on this guy like white on rice. He's a problematic individual. So
that was my first indication that we had trouble brewing.
Right.
Because you know what, in our community, and I gotta, we're gonna go off on another quick tangent here. The other night you had a young lady on that hung out with Jimmy Church's crowd, the Fade to Black crowd, which is another whole problem in itself. Just don't even get me started. Okay.
Right.
But she was on your show and she was talking about how she went to the party.
A cult priestess.
Yes, exactly.
She might be in the live chat. She might be in my live chat. So you know what I mean?
Oh, she was wonderful. I absolutely adored her, and I have seen her at the conferences. I am not a fan, and everybody that knows me knows that, of the School of Church, and I have seen a lot of slimy things going on, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And my biggest problem with that whole crowd is exactly what she talked about, and that is the fact that you go to these parties, you hang out with all these guys, and the truth cannot be told because they're all slimy, they're all liars. Not all of them, but a majority of them are just in it for the money, and it's all a big game. And it isn't about the truth anymore for any of those people. If you've made it that high in the pecking order, it's not about the truth anymore. It's about how many subscribers you got and how much money you're making. It really is.
Right.
And it's sad because I hang out at those things, but I don't go to those things. But I hang out at the other things like it. I'm at the cast parties and all this stuff all the time. But I'm usually in a corner talking to somebody I really care about. Not any of these individuals, because I have nothing to say to them, because if I did, I would start exposing them for what they were. And
I don't do well at Hollywood parties.
You and I ought to go together sometime. Well, that would scare everybody.
It'll be just like high school, hanging out in the corner, taking everybody's inventory, you know what I mean? Making fun of everybody, sticking to ourselves.
Good. Yeah, I have to, because my good friends that know me know I don't put up with anything. If they start talking about it, I'm going to be all over them. All over them. There was one guy that I used to hang out with a lot at the parties, and that was Jim Mars. Do you remember Jim Mars?
Yeah, I remember Jim Mars well. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Oh, I know. I absolutely adored him. Actually, we loved each other. I got a picture of me kissing him on my Facebook page. Anyhow, long story short, Jim and I, we'd sit there at the parties together. We'd look around the room, and because Jim and I were the only two that would go from the like Conscious Life Expo right over to Phoenix to the International UFO Congress, and then meet up again at JFK. And one day I'm hugging him at Conscious Life Expo because I was speaking there on mind control of all things. And I said, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Well, I'm on the UFO panel." I said, "Oh, that's great." I said, "You know, Jim, you and I are the only two I know of that do the 3-ring circus." And he started laughing because he knew exactly what I meant. I said, "You know, the Conscious Life ones, the UFO ones, and the JFK stuff." I said, "We dabbled our toe in all of it. That's where we go." And he's laughing. He's like, "Yeah, we are. We're the only two I know of." He goes, "I know people who do 2, but I don't know anybody who does 3 but you and me. So now we are the 3-ring circus people." And I said, "Yes, we are." So I just fondly adored that man. But we would sit at the parties and we'd look around and we'd go, "Oh my God, what are they talking about? Didn't we talk about that 25 years ago, Jim?"
There
And
you
go,
go.
"Yeah, I think we
Absolutely.
did."
What's old is
You
new
know?
again.
Yeah, they all think they're coming up with something new. And we just sat there and he'd go, "Where's the JD?" And I go, "I'll go grab it for you." So, and one night I got him to chug a lug for me. You know, the clogging. He did Texas clog dancing for me at a party one night. It was great. Anyhow,
I assume after the JD.
Oh yes, definitely after the JD. Yeah, we were having a blast. It was fun because I was trying to get him to waltz with me, and he he refused to do it. So the last time I had to do that was with my wife when we got married. Anyhow, I adored him. I miss him. I don't know what to do now because I've got nobody to hang out with at the parties. So I'm in trouble.
Hey,
oh God. Okay, back to you again, and back to our priestess. She said something so profound about that gang of, what I call the gang of thieves, because it's an unspoken rule that when you're at those parties, you don't tell the truth about anything. You all tell each other how beautiful you are, how amazing everything is. You don't do business. You do everything but you get stoned, you get drunk, you do whatever, you pick up girls, that kind of thing. And it just blows my mind. It literally blows my mind that they all have this craziness that they all follow, together on.
Right. Well, it's amazing, like the Kabbalahs are going to arrest us. The Illuminati is strangling children in graveyards. But come party time, everyone's able to just set that all aside and just kind of hang out and act like jerks at a Hollywood party, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's almost like they don't believe all the stuff that they're saying, right? You know what I mean?
Or how about this? How about going on radio shows crying that they're going to murder me?
That guy. Oh, Mr. Oh, Miss. Well, we have to make sure to pace ourselves, so we have to make sure that we cover Corey Gooden in all his detail, and then we'll get to David Wilcock and his history.
I went on another tangent because that one got me. That was the day I said, "Okay, I'm closing the book on this."
Oh, that was classic. That goes into the YouTube Conspiracy Comedy Classics corner, right?
It does.
With 3 Ks, you know what I mean? Oh my! For people who, and to this day. See, God bless them. There's people that tune into Cosmic Disclosure, that Gaia TV is their first exposure to this world, and they think that David Wilcock is good as gold and can't be sold, and it makes me want to vomit because I think to myself, if you guys were here back in the day and heard that crazy foolishness of, number one, reincarnation of Edgar Cayce, right? We could drag him over the coals for that one. We could drag him over the coals for the infamous, remember when he first... back in the day when he phoned into Coast to Coast AM anonymously and tried to pull a John Teeter. Do you know that story?
Yes.
Oh God. And then the famous, the White Dragon Society, they're coming to get me. We should, we'll do a little role playing later on. I'll be David Wilcock. You could be Karen Cassidy, and you can tell me that there's a pyramid of white light protecting me as I dance around the studio apartment, complaining that the White Dragon Society are going to send some super ninjas to come get me because my information is so important, right? Oh no, we got to take out Wilcock.
I swear to God, when that night happened, I actually listened to the live broadcast of that, and I was on the floor laughing so hard. I was in tears. I was doubled over. I was laughing because, honest to God, CW, I know people that they've tried to kill, and they don't even talk about it. They don't flinch, and they certainly don't go on the
and
show.
you certainly don't call a
brag about
radio show. You call the
Yeah.
cops, you know, or you call mom to say
Exactly.
goodbye. You know what I mean?
Or you move to another country, like a lot of my CIA buddies have done.
Well, there you go.
The
You know,
Solomon Islands are full of those guys.
note to self: avoid the Solomon Islands. If I want, they'll see me come along. They're like, you were talking trash about my friend there. Too
God.
funny. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, that was a crazy performance piece.
That was. It was. You're right. It is the classic acting, comedy sketch of the years. I swear to God. It's better than, you remember the guy used to call into Art Bell, the crazy dude, and it was all a setup. JB or JW or CJ or, remember what I'm talking about, don't you?
Barely. I mean, my experiences with Coast because I was born a little bit later, so I definitely knew about Coast to Coast AM. You couldn't always get it where I was at in the East Coast. Caught it every once in a while, but I got to listen to, like watching old Johnny Carson episodes on YouTube. You get an education for how it used to be done the right way, and then you get to hear these wonderful jokers make a mockery of the whole thing. Like I tell people all the time, like, the reason that Coast to Coast AM was so great was that Art Bell used to push back, right? Richard Hoagland would come on and say, "I've did this photo shows that there's crystal light structures on the moon," and Art Bell would be like, "Those are lines. Those are just photo lines, whatever they are.
Those are reflections.
Those are a flag. That's not that. Okay, I suppose you're gonna tell me that those are crystal castles on the moon, Richard." Yeah, don't you see them? No, I don't. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. I remember that one. I laughed so hard at that too. I thought that was fabulous.
Too funny.
It's, people don't get it.
Right.
There's a fine line, and like I said, my fine line is drawing a circle around me and exploring everything that is with 360 degrees because I love all of it. See, that's the problem. And I loved Art Bell's humor. I loved the way he would go after people. I loved all that. I loved the way you do it. I mean, and I'm not necessarily one of those people that likes to see people get gone after, but in some cases, like with Corey Good, David Wilcock, that whole gang of thieves, I have no problem with it because they are a gang of thieves. And I have lots of proof, and you do too. And you're very good at, gleaning from their past experiences or past exposure, I should say, on radio, internet, and TV, what these people are really like.
Yes.
The bottom line is, if you know their history and you know what they've done in the past on all the social media, how can anybody be following these guys? That's the part you were just going to say that before we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, but it's a combination platter of, especially with Corey Good. I tell people the dirty little secret about Corey Good that we need to know and understand is that the only reason that Corey Good is Corey Good is because he had that, thanks to David Wilcock, he had that amazing platform on Gaia TV. You and I both know that there are a litany, a roll call full of people who have stories similar to Corey Good's, and they never get anywhere except the Fenton Perspective or Alfred Lambermont Weber, right? They don't get to go to the big time. They don't get to have the audacity of thinking that they've got the capability of trademarking anything because they don't have the capital behind them.
And God bless them all. A lot of them have much better stories, you're right, and they have a little more detail about how and why or what they think might have happened, and a lot of them haven't even bought into the fact that this is something that's happened to them. They're telling their story and they're still in amazement about it, right? So those are the people I love because they're not saying, "Oh, Lauren, yeah, this is the way it is," and I'm Enoch of the Bible, and stuff like that. They still ask questions like, "God, do you think it's the government? Do you think it's real? Do you think, whatever?" And they ask it of me and they ask it of my audience.
Right.
And so I give them a lot more leeway because they're being truthfully honest that they have no idea how this is happening to them, but this is their story. And I love those people. I really do, because in a weird way, they're confessing their soul to people they don't even know about something that's going to label them absolutely nut jobs, right?
Right.
So they're very brave in a weird way, you know.
Well,
so
when I do this work, what I try to always remember is that there's going to be people who I'm going to be tempted to disbelieve, who, though, like when we talked about target, like you mentioned, targeted individuals in passing. Now it's very easy for me to say, okay, that sounds exactly like the classic symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia. But here's the thing. I'm empathetic to know that if I'm talking to someone or if I'm hearing the story of someone who I believe is clearly suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, I know that suffering from paranoid schizophrenia is a terrible, terrible thing to have to deal with and live with. And so that even though I might not think that the things that are pursuing them in that I can find those things in my real world, that doesn't mean that it's not real for them. And the worst part of this whole scene is the following. I say this all the time. I don't know how many times I've seen one of these Corey Good like characters who has a slick line of BS. Corey Good, Billy Meyer, another guy who Simon Parks, another guy who I'm very skeptical about. I'm blanking on his name. He's oh shoot.
Randy Kramer?
Not even Randy Kramer, an older guy. He did the famous talking about the reptilians in the 1990s. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. I normally have his name at the tip of my tongue.
I don't know why you are either, because I can't remember who it would be.
Oh shoot, the live chat will help me. I talk about him, and I name drop this guy all the time. But for whatever reason, there's guys that have a very even Travis Walton, who have a very at this point a very Whitley Strieber as well, who have a very well articulated manner about them, can speak and tell people answers to questions. And how many times you see one of those guys who's getting paid thousands of dollars to appear at these conferences, and in the back corner during question and answer period, comes some poor man, some poor woman, literally shaking because the things that they're dealing with, the things that they're experiencing are terrifying them. And they can barely get out of the question. They're halfway asking a question, it's 1/3 asking a question, 1/3 giving some basic nervous thumbnail testimony about what they're experiencing, and 1/3 begging for help. And they get shuffled off, and those guys never get booked at the conference, right? Those guys don't get airplay on Gaia TV. Those guys don't get to be on Ancient Aliens. It's only the liars. Alex Collier. It's only the people who have a very mannered.
God.
Yeah.
If I got a story about Alex Collier, I'll tell you privately. It'll blow your mind.
Tell me publicly. We already threw David Wilcock under the bus. We might as well dish on everybody. We did
throw him under the bus already, didn't we?
Straight under the bus. He's lonely down there. Lauren, we need to give him some company.
We're going to throw so many more people under the bus.
Everyone's going under the bus. Tell the people, everybody, go to Facebook. Tell them we're going crazy here. Everyone's going under the bus. And when we run out of real stories to tell about people, we'll just do like they do, and we'll just start making stuff up.
Yeah, make stuff up. Exactly.
Why not? Yeah, sure. I saw David Wilcock at the Illuminati mixer. You know what I mean? He's the one sitting on GCR. The White Dragon Society was totally like, I think we're going to do it tomorrow. And he was like, I want to get more views. Can we hold off? And I was like, damn Zeus Wilcox.
Oh, God. I knew I was going to be laughing so hard tonight I wouldn't be able to do.
And at this point, Lauren, I gotta tell you something. Welcome to the Dark Alliance. Whenever you see David Wilcock talking about the Dark Alliance or the Dark Cabal, or Corey Good talking about the Dark Alliance and the Dark Cabal that are trying to infiltrate their systems and mess everything up. Ooh, we got Jason Quidd in the live chat. All right, he's saying hi to you.
Jason's my buddy.
There you go. Well, there you go.
He takes care of my kitty cats for me.
You got to bring him onto the CW Chanter show. Can we get him on? Can you get him on?
Well, yeah, sure. Jason, go on CW show for me.
There you go. That's an order. The cats say yes. I'm a cat person. Apparently he's a cat person, so we'll get along famously and fine. He can teach me Egyptian yoga, right?
Hey, I love his poses. Have you seen his book with all the pose things? It's pretty cool.
Why do you think I'm so desperate to get him on my show?
He's wonderful.
God bless him.
Actually, he's the one bright light at all the conferences because he tells us stories and he says, "Hey, you don't have to believe me, but this is what happened." And then he says, "I don't even deal with those little gray aliens. I just tell them to go away and leave me alone."
Well, you know what we'll do with Jason? We'll let him ride the bus. We won't throw him underneath it. We'll let him ride on the bus.
Throw Jason under the bus.
So it might be a bumpy ride with everything going on. I'm teasing you, Jason. We're loving you. Love your stuff. I'm just giving the shout out on the live chat. Jay, we're just teasing you, brother. We're teasing everybody. I'm a teaser, Jason. I'm very happy to see you in the live chat. Know your work, understand your work, and I find a lot more value in people who have doing things in the talk of research. Rather than stuff and telling fantastical stories. You could tell us stories about your lessons that you learned from the Algonquin shamans. See, I know who you are. I know who Jason Quinn is. I know. I'll quit talking about Jason. We'll move back on to Corey again and all that gang.
God, you know what? We don't have much time left in the show, so
we gotta go fast. Okay. Corey good. So look, I mean, everybody knows that this whole thing is turned into a big brouhaha. He was on Gaia TV. He had this amazing platform, and he did it. But watch out. This is what I've been saying. I've said this several times over the last couple of episodes of my show, and it's as true now as it was when I first said it. It's an old expression. It's an old turn of phrase. Be careful who you step on your way to the top, because those are the exact same people you're going to see on your way back down to the bottom. Corey Good is back now on planet Earth. Corey Good is no longer has anything that sets him apart really from the likes of Randy Kramer, from the likes of Jason Rice, from the likes of Andrew Bashago, Alfred Lambermont Weber, or any of these people. He's back, or James Casbolt, or the late Max Spears, peace be upon him, or James Rink. Now he's going to have to play on the same field and the same level that everybody else plays, where your thoughts, your ideas, your expressions, your teachings, your experiences either gain an audience or don't gain an audience by their veracity, by their strength, by their resolve, by their resonance, by their energy. And I think he's gonna have a tougher time of it. I think he's gotten used to things being kind of easy for him, and it's real life bare knuckle boxing here on the ground level. Just ask any of the super soldiers that I know. These guys and gals didn't get lives of glamour. They didn't get to go out to Colorado to film on a nice set. They got, unair conditioned convention halls, talking to people who, many of people have the exact same similar experiences. They only
got to talk. You know what? They only got to talk at my conference.
There you go.
It. Nobody else would have them, and I don't blame them for not having them. That's not even the point. The point is, a lot of those guys are dead. There's much more to
or
this
in jail.
Than you'll ever know.
Or in jail.
Or in jail. They're either dead or in jail, and the reason they're in jail is because if the government was doing to them what I think they might have been doing, and also a lot of my scientists and doctor buddies agree that these guys showed total signs of having something wrong with them, okay, on many levels, that their programming kicks in. If you're under some type of mind control, they can program you to do horrible things.
Now,
that's what I tell people all the time: is just don't forget, these guys are not to be trusted. They'll do horrible things if they really are what they say they are, and of course they all do. It's so interesting to me. They all blow themselves up.
Right. Well, I don't know if we've got time to tell the story, but if I did have time, or maybe it's something that you want to tell me off air, is to prod you and to talk about the questions that I still have about James Casbolt's famous story out of what were you there for that Super Soldier conference where he turned into a Super Hulk monster and everyone got kidnapped and taken into trucks in the back?
Well, I put on that conference.
Right.
Yes. Something did happen, and I'm going to tell you all about it off air. How's that sound?
Okay, we'll have to figure. And then so we'll figure it out. We'll do something, because I mean, definitely got quite. Well, you know what I think? Hey, let me ask you a question. We're having such a wonderful time talking. Would you ever consider coming on my show as a guest?
I would love to come on your show. That would be a lot of fun. I hadn't even thought about it, but yeah, I would. I'd love to do that.
So that's it.
And you and I can dispel rumors and myth. And I'll tell you, that whole thing that happened at the Fiesta, I call it the Fiesta fiasco. I was in denial about it even happening for 6 months, and I was on air telling everybody, "Oh, they're all crazy," And then I got a wake-up call, and I'll tell you about that off air too, because we're going to end the show here in a couple of minutes, so I don't have time to go into it. But before we end the show, we've got to get down to the nitty-gritty. So you did your broadcasting about Corey Good from the 16th of October until it was 10 days, because it was a Friday.
Yeah, and we're still going over here, and I'll tell you why. This is the last thing I'll leave it with. There's a lot of talk about a lot of people feel like many issues have been resolved because he dropped certain trademarks. And I have nothing but respect for dark journalists. I have nothing but respect for a lot of the people who think that that was the issue. Richard Dolan, that think that's the issue, and now that it's done, that it's fine, or they're going to move on to cover other things, or they're not going to move to cover these. I had a woman on my show called Groovy Bean, okay, and she is
I remember Groovy Bean.
Yeah,
I don't know where I know her from, but I know her.
Well, she used to do a lot of the conventions and work a lot of the things, and so I think maybe time will drag your memory, but we need to remember that my problem with Corey Good is because I really do have a real personal problem with Corey Good, what he does. And it's not just the fact that he lies and spreads disinformation about secret space programs or tells fantastic stories that might not be true. We talked about him throwing Bill Ryan under the bus by bringing out material that did not need to be brought into the public eye, that did not need to be published just because he had a personal beef or problem with Bill Ryan. Corey Good is a vindictive, mean-spirited, cruel individual. He engages in gaslighting the people around him. And if he wants to debate me about these things, if he wants to come to his own defense, he knows where to find me. Okay.
Right.
But it's one thing to I'll nutshell it for you this, and the problem with me and Corey Good, and the reason that if Corey Good's listening to today, whether he's listening to your radio broadcast or whether he's hearing me on YouTube, Corey, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop until you come to terms with the fact that you owe Groovy Bean a real apology. You probably and Richard. And until this thing comes up, you could drop all the trademarks. You can give it all up. You could move to France. If I see you on the streets of France, I'm going to come up to you and I'm going to say you owe Groovy Bean an apology. I'm going to keep it, and I'm not going to let it go until you crack or my voice cracks. I'm going to keep on this until heck freezes over, because you did something wrong and you're doing something wrong to the community. It's not just about politics and business and telling lies. You know what you're doing. You know you're tricking people into believing things that you know are not true. A lot of people have faith in the Blue Avians, and you exploit that faith to use it to make monetary gain. And then you tell the things like the Blue Avians left because they were turning into a religion. That's a nasty turn of phrase, man. That's a nasty way to do business. And I don't respect it. I don't like it. And then you and me got a personal beef. You understand? Corey Good, if you hear my voice, this is personal to me. It's not just that you're just telling stories. What you've done to people around you, the stories that I know, the things that you've done, the vibe I get from you, I'm never going to stop talking until you talk to me man to man, face to face. And that's just what's up.
Yes, yay! That's the CW chanter I know. Good job. Well, folks, the show's going to end here any second now, so people need to get to CW Chanter on YouTube and go back, guys. Watch it from the 16th of October to the 26th of October. Every night, CW was there.
Let me just say the most important one so people know.
Oh, music started.
Oh, the music's already started. There you go.
We can't, but I'll have you on again at some time in the near future. And all is good. I'll see you guys all next week. And CW, stay on the line.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Okay, I got rid of the studio.
Okay, now I'm still live, so if you want to talk, that's fine. But there's we've got 105 viewers. If you could stay on, you can't see them, but we could keep on going, and technically it would be like an after show. But I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to piss off Nightbeard or Nightbird, Nighthawk.
Oh no, the studio's gone. It's just you and I now, and your group there, and I got to just do a couple of quick things, and then keep going with your live whatever, and I'll tell you the story about what's his name, Alex Collier, if you want.
Do you want to do that so you can hang out and give a special story to the audience?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, but give me 1 second.
Listen, take your time. I can vamp. I'll hang out and I'll answer, do a little Q&A.
Just 1 second, folks. I've got to type a couple things here into the studio, and as soon as I do that, we're all good. Okay?
Oh, fantastic! Shout out to Nighthawk.
Yeah, Nighthawk's wonderful.
Redbeard.
He's going through a lot of stuff right now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
He's doing good.
We all do. So how we doing, folks at home? How you enjoying the show? How you enjoying the broadcast?
Okay, I'm all done.
Okay.
Okay, great. So, hi everybody out there on CW Chanter's feed. I just wanted you guys all to know that I started listening to CW, as you guys heard on the show, on the 16th of October when well, it was actually the 17th. I think it was a Saturday, wasn't it? Or it was, I don't remember. But point to it all is, I was sitting here working, and I thought, I wonder what's going on with the CG stuff, lately. And I didn't even know about the trademarking. See, you turned me on to it, which I just adored you for at the time. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is good stuff." And then you said you're going to do this every night, and this was like your second night of doing it, or you're just going to keep doing it. So I thought there must be more. So then I found the night before is when you had actually started. So I started listening to all of it, and so every night I try to tune in and listen, and it was absolute pandemonium, and I loved it. So I just want to let you know, you really, you opened my eyes. It made me feel good because I have been battling this guy since 2013 in a bizarre way, because he wanted to be James Casbold and Max Spears and Rink and all those guys, which it was my fault. They all got put on the map.
Right.
But there's a deeper, darker part to this that nobody knows about. And I can't talk about it live, folks, because I just can't. But I'll tell you this.
Not even if I tell you that I'll be your best friend.
No, I can't, because I'll tell you about it personally.
Okay.
And then you gauge whether you want to deal with it on your show, okay? Because, folks, a lot of people have died since I did those conferences.
Okay.
The first one I did, it's a long story, but Max almost died at that conference. And it was a very interesting reason why, and a lot of things happened. That was 2012. It was a one-day conference in San Rafael, California, and I do not, to this day, have the footage of that conference up on anywhere that anybody can see it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've held on to it all these years, and I decided that when Max died, I decided that I would actually put it out there as a fundraiser to do another mind control conference. And I know Robert Duncan said he'd always come to any conference I had. I know that Dr. Ross will. I know that the other guy, I'm looking at his face, but I can't think of his name. He'll be there. He's a doctor as well. Judy Byington, some of the people that work with satanic ritual abuse therapists want to be there. And a lot of the targeted individual groups want to be there. I mean, I've got a built-in conference if I want to do it. The problem is, every time I try to produce one, things start happening to me. And I can't really go into a lot of detail, but I can tell you this: stalking is real. So is IT interference is real. They just do not want me doing a mind control conference. I can do JFK conferences, UFO conferences, time travel conferences. I can do all the conferences I want in any other genre. But you get me into mind control, and whoever these dark forces are out there, they go ballistic on me. And I was almost made homeless the last time I tried to do one. So I'm not sure I'm going to. I always say there's a good possibility it might happen, but we do need the money for it to happen. So that's one of the biggest problems we got.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, so getting away from all that, what were you? Oh yeah, Alex Collier.
Alex
I can't
Collier.
talk about this. It's it must have been 2014 or 2015. I'm at one of the big conferences, and everybody had gone out to dinner. No, it was 2013. It was 2013, Awake and Aware in Pasadena, California. Now I remember. And
already 5 years ago. Can you believe it?
I know. It makes me feel
Time
really
flies.
old.
Time flies.
It does. It really does. Considering I didn't come to the table until I was 53 years old. I stood around serving for 40 years, but I did not sit at the table until I was 53. So it's been a long haul for me, folks. I'm 61 years old now.
Get out of town.
No, seriously, 61 years old. I'm sitting at the table with a bunch of people. Now, I got to tell you guys something. When these things happen, everybody that is anybody that is famous gets to all sit together and have their little ritual dinner of everybody's beautiful, right? Like we were talking about at the parties. Right. Well, I was sitting at that table, and then suddenly, and Jordan Maxwell was with me, by the way, and a bunch of us, we were sitting there. And suddenly, Richard Hoagland and his wife pulled in to sit at the table, and I do not like the man with a passion, so I got up and left the table, and I was sitting over with the non-star people.
Richard, you got beef with Richard Hoagland?
Oh yeah.
A whole bunch of stories.
Oh my God! And then there's. Oh my God! I can't go to. I'm just going to say I won't sit at a table and break bread with the man. Okay.
Oh, that's intense, right? Okay.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is the man has absolutely no respect for conference producers or people who put on an event. Because, as all of us know in the business, and I call it in the business because I have no other way to describe it at this point.
And it's an accurate description because it's a total business, right?
It is, and I hate using that. But when I put on a conference, for me, and everybody that knows me knows this is an absolute fact, I don't do it for the money. I'm not out to make $100,000 so that I can live comfortably in my house for another year until I fleece everybody of their money again. I don't do that. I've never done that. And everybody that knows me knows that is a fact. Anyhow, I'm not going to go into what I do. But point to all this is Richard Hoagland would get to a conference and he would say, okay, I'll speak about this at this time. And then he'd get up there and then you couldn't get the guy to shut up or get him off the stage. He'd go on for 2 presentations worth, blow off your dinner break, blow off your lunch break, blow off where the vendors could actually have a chance to sell something during that break so that he'd throw the whole schedule off, put everybody into chaos. One person wouldn't get to speak because of him, because there's no time for them. I mean, he has no respect for anybody else. And I thought to myself, I will never talk to the man. I will never give him the time of day. If he comes up to me and tries to introduce himself because I'm starting to get a name for myself as a conference producer and plays that game with me like all of them do, I'm going to walk away the other direction and tell him he isn't worth my time. But I thought instead of doing that at that table, I thought I'd just get up and leave, and that way there wouldn't be a showdown, right? So I just got up and left, okay? And that is why I refuse to deal with the man, and that's why you guys, you'll hear he is just nowhere to be found anymore. basically.
Yeah, I was going to say. He took a powder.
Yeah, I went, and I don't just stop there. I'll tell you guys, since this is a small group, I'm hoping.
It's 109 people. It's and they'll get like 1,000 views, hopefully by the end of tomorrow.
Oh, geez. Well,
You're doing it. You're the
Oh God!
It's Hollywood.
I'm
It's conspiracy theory
dirt
Babylon.
Yeah, I'm exposing the dirt. So
To the
anyhow,
people. You're doing it for the people. For the people.
I am.
God bless
So,
you.
what I do a lot, and the other conference producers know this of me, I am one to pick up a telephone and call them and say, "What the hell are you doing having that guy speak for you, or that girl, or whatever?" And I'm not shy, and they all know me. Okay, because I used to have at the bottom of my posters in small letters. You know how you have the circle with the line through it? I used to have not Dolan, Hoagland's name on there, and Wilcox and Good, and I had a litany of people that had a red line through their name, and it said, "None of these people will ever appear at any of my conferences."
Good for you.
It was the fine print on everything. Oh my God, it was hysterical. Anyhow, I had to stop doing that because people started saying that it was turning people off from coming to the conference that may support me, and they had a point. So I stopped doing it, but I did it for a couple of years, and maybe that's why I only got 100 people at my conferences.
You're doing right when you have a selective audience. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're doing it right when you're losing. You got another big loan to pay off. I'll tell you what. Anyhow, so I'm sitting there at the table with what I call the underlings, not the stars of the event. I'm having a great time and talking to a lot of people. And this woman walks up to the table and she says, "Are you Lorian Fenton?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "I would really love to talk to you. Can we go somewhere private?" I said, "Sure, let's go to a booth down at the end." And we moved to a booth. And we're talking away. And she says, I'm not going to tell you her name. She says, "I am." Oh, and by the way, I had her verified by a whole bunch of people in the room that night to make sure she was who she said she was. I just didn't want it to be some crazy lady.
Right.
She goes, "I am Alex Collier's ex-girlfriend, the one after the wife." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "What's up?" She goes, "Well, I heard you on your radio show a week or two ago saying that you were thinking about bringing Alex to one of your conferences and that you were trying your best to give him some money because you had heard he was living in a car in Denver and he was cold and starving to death."
He was cold.
Yeah.
He was starving. He had prostate cancer. The doctors were telling him that he needed to get off the road, but he was living in the back of a truck. That was the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said to me, she goes, "I just want you to know something before you go and help this guy. And by putting him at your event." And I said, "What's that?" She goes, "He's making it all up."
Holy shit.
And I said, "Really?" I said, "How do you know?" And she started to tell me a tale. The bottom line is this. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Okay.
At one point in his life, from her mouth, not mine. I don't know if it's absolutely true. I'm just telling you what she
allegedly, as we say.
Allegedly.
Magically put that magic word up there, allegedly.
And she tried to help him so much. And the reason that he got divorced in the first place was because he was abusing his wife.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm not going to go into detail.
Right. Hashtag me too.
Yeah, if you look up their divorce proceedings, if you can get your hands on them, which I think you can as an attorney, you will see that there's some indication of that in there and other things. Anyhow, so she tells me this, and then she tells me that, and then she says, "I got to tell you this, the best part about all this." She goes, "I lost touch with him when he left me a couple years ago. It was 2009 or 10 when he left her, right after his big appearance with Carrie at her 2009 Awake and Aware conference with Bill, right?
Right.
And people were just flocking all over him, and he thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then suddenly no one was talking to him, right? It was like, he was the flavor of the day, but when the conference was over, it was kind of like, whatever. And so he kind of got depressed, or something happened, and he left her and said, I'm moving away. He moved up to a town near, oh God, where was it? Where did they do the skiing, the Olympic stuff in Southern California? I can't remember the name of it. Anyhow,
Right.
he moved up to a town in the mountains in Southern California. They're above LA, outside of LA. About 2 hours.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue too.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. So anyhow, he's near that town, and he starts telling people that he's a tax guy, and he tries to do taxes for people, which was all a lie. Okay.
Yeah.
Already been convicted of falsifying, impersonating a tax somebody or whatever.
Was it Squaw Valley, the town? The town, was it Squaw Valley?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Santee and Nez, Big Bear.
Timberline in it or something like that, but you could be right.
Okay.
Anyhow, so he's doing that in town, and he's calling her every once in a while. And he asked her to come up and bring some money and food and what have you. And so she goes up there, and he's living in somebody gave him like his empty cabin to live in or something. And he's living in this cabin with no electricity, no water, no nothing, or what have you. And it's got boxes all in the room. And excuse me, folks, I need to cough. So hold on a second. So he's living in this room, and she walks in and she says, Lorraine, I swear to God, she goes, this is where I knew we were in trouble. And I said, what is it? You knew then, huh? You didn't know before then, huh? We were laughing about it. And she goes, no, I really knew that you guys were in trouble because he's making this all up. You know how I know? He had every book he could steal from every library from LA to who knows where about ET contact laying all around him.
Wow.
And I said, seriously? And she goes, yes, it's absolutely true. And she goes, you cannot put him in your conference with me knowing what I know. Now, she also did say, she goes, I don't know. Maybe he's having contact now. I don't know. But I can tell you this. He wasn't a few years ago. And I really think he's making this up. And she goes, Lorraine, I absolutely believe that he believes this all happened. She goes, he may have had a dream about it after reading a book. She goes, I don't know. Or he may be having contact. She goes, I don't know. But I want you to know what I saw, what I experienced with him, and what he is like as a person.
Oh, wow.
And that's the honest to God truth from her lips to mine to you guys. That's what she told me.
Right.
And I thank her to this day for doing that, because at that point I said, you know what? There's too much weirdness going on here. I would love to believe him. I really would, because, that whole line he said about his aliens don't understand about how humans have to deal with money. Why do you have to pay to be on the planet you were born on? It made so much sense to me. But I realized I'd heard that from something like Scully's book back in the 50s, or somebody, I can't remember, the Flying Saucer storybook. I'm looking at them all. I collect old UFO books, UFO encounter books and stuff.
Right. He had a famous
Saucer
line.
Speaks by Spearman. It may have been in there.
he had this one famous line that he always used to say that the Palladian High Council had told him. And then someone discovered that it was like, I don't know if they discovered it was like a line from a song. It was that old chestnut. They told me that the pain that you carry lifetime to lifetime is equal to the love that you withhold, or something like this. So the love you withhold is equal to the pain that you carry lifetime after lifetime. And it turned out to be like from a Stevie Nicks tune or something. I forget what it was.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can almost sing it, but I'm kind of tired. But so that's, this is the kind of stuff I get. And, it's hard being in this community. I got to tell you, CW, I have the hardest time because I want to believe. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm a Fox Mulder down to my toes.
You want to believe that? That's okay. That's a beautiful
look. The first 6 seasons.
Stay gold. Stay gold. No,
and I really do want to believe, and I really want to help people get their stories out. But I have been through the ringer, from the super soldiers to the JFK liars to the, the contactee liars. It's like, I swear to God, I've been at the table since, God, I'm 53. What year? 2011, 2010. I think, or I got sick in 2009, so it must have been 10 that all this started. So I've only been at the table for almost a decade, but it just feels like I've been here for 500 years, because I'm always battling these people. It's like I don't get to have the free ride. I've never been famous. I don't get to speak at all the conferences, in spite of the fact that what I do say at the conferences is the truth. You guys are going to love this story. Wait till I tell you this. I'm at New Living Expo last year. I just given a presentation on who the real manipulators are in the disclosure movement.
But before you tell the story, I got a shout out for you. Groovy Bean is in the live chat, and she remembered, she wanted to let you know that her and Nichols, Jim Nichols, right? We're on the show with you a while ago. That you were asking before about how you remembered her, that you thought you knew her.
I thought I kept going, I know this person.
Yeah,
she was
there you
on
go.
the show. She was wonderful.
She is. She's a doll. She's an angel.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So shout out back to those guys.
All right.
So God, where was I going? See, this is what happens if I don't start the story. I forget where.
My apologies. I won't interrupt you again. I know how it is. I always blank out on things.
God, I just totally blanked on it. Shoot. Anyhow, I was just saying that. Oh yeah, it was 2010. I got into this, and it feels like forever, and I'm always battling everybody because I tell the truth. Oh yeah, I know what it was. Okay, so I'm at New Living Expo. I just got through speaking about the real people behind disclosure, the 200 people that would be Majestic 12 if people would open their eyes and actually see who's playing the game. And Bob Bigelow is he's like the crown prince of them. And then we've got John Alexander is the Darth Vader. And, we got all these people playing their roles. And these are the guys that control our destiny in the UFO community. But does the UFO community want to know it? No, they don't want to know this. They don't want to know anything about the truth. Okay. So I give this whole great presentation on who's actually behind it. And, I get approached by another guy who's putting on a conference, and we're talking, and my buddy Robert walks up and he goes, "Oh yeah, Robert, I'm putting on a conference in in August in Sacramento. Would you like to come and speak at it?" And Robert's like, "Oh sure, I'd love to." And then I look at him and I say, "Well, I'd like to speak at it too." And he looks at me, and I swear to God, guys, this is exactly what he says. He says, "I can't have anybody talking about the dark side of things." And I'm like, oh, great. So I looked at him and I said, I'll just talk about angels or something.
There you go. Not a problem.
It's like, nobody wants the truth
they
anymore.
Don't want
nobody
the truth.
Cares about it.
No. They just want they only want the darkness if the darkness is what's selling this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What I'm laughing the most about, and everybody's going to just think I'm so sadistic after I say this. There is a bunch of conferences that already booked Corey Good for their next year. And I'm like, I look at their rosters and I just start laughing.
It's going to be problematic. It's going to be problematic.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. But you know what? But I gotta tell you something. That's why we have to stay vigilant. Why I feel like my people that hang out near me and my channel, why we need to stay vigilant, because if he drops I always say this, is that when a person calls the fight over when they're losing, sometimes it's because they're really giving up, and sometimes it's because they know it's in their tactical best interest to lay low for a while, wait for the smoke to clear, and then come back fighting another day. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's like, exactly. So I'd be wary of this guy because this audience has a very short attention span. Very short attention span. They forget real quick, real easy.
There's a couple of scumbags that I have exposed in the community that I thought slithered away 5 years ago, and now they're rearing their ugly heads again, and I got to go through the same old thing. I got to remind everybody, this guy This is what he did. You know, he lied about this. He lied about that. He says the brain tumor he has is now a glowing orb object the aliens put in his head. You know,
No, that can happen. I mean, you know, that happens all the time. That's Tuesday around here. You know?
Oh my God. Yeah, this is the stuff I got to deal with. So, you know, what I have to do when all these guys start rearing their ugly heads again is I got to make the rounds to all the conference producers. I got to get on the phone with Carrie and I got to say, this guy's a shim flam guy. And I got to, you know, I got to do it because, you know, I'm probably the most discerning person in the group that allows the most crazy stories to get by me too. You know,
Right.
I mean, I play both sides very well, actually. And people have called me on the carpet for it, and I do get that, but, you know, it's okay because I know what I'm doing. I have a built-in sixth sense about the people that are doing it because it's the truth for them and the people that are doing it for the money. And there's a big difference, folks. Huge difference.
Right. Do you listen? Can I ask you a question? Do you have any war stories about Douglas Dietrich? I know that you were working with him for a while.
Oh my God, you guys! Talk about war stories. Okay, now I met Douglas in 2010 at the Conspiracy Con in San Francisco, and I'll give you a quick background. And I'm going to have to get off the air here in 8 minutes because at 7:30 I got to prepare for my next show over at KCOR.
Okay.
Yeah, and so anyhow. I met Douglas there. He was in distress. There was a bunch of stuff going on around him, and I could tell he was very flustered. And I went up to him and I said, "Hi, my name's Lorian Fenton. I'm starting to manage people in the community. If you need somebody, if you need some help, give me a call." Because I was going around to all the speakers at that event offering my services as a manager because weirdly enough, before I got sick in 2009 and almost died, and or actually probably died for about a minute at one point, I was managing speakers and authors and running conferences. That's what I did. So it was kind of like a small speakers bureau. Anyhow, long story short, I knew how to manage people. I'm very good at it. And I thought, well, I can't do it in my regular life anymore because I got sick and I was in bed for so long that I've lost all my clients. I couldn't pay my rent. I mean, I was almost homeless. And so it took me 3 months to get to the point where I could get out of bed after my illness. I was in the hospital for over 2 weeks. So anyhow, long story short, I ran into him. He called me later and said, "I need a manager." And I started talking to him. His story was fascinating. Don't know if I believed it all, but I did send a private investigator to figure out if the major parts of his story were true, and they were.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the part about him working at the Presidio, and the part about him at Letterman Hospital as a child intrigued me much more than the rest of his crazy stories.
Oh, wow.
Because we couldn't find absolute proof that he was in Iraq. We couldn't find we did find proof that he did work as an EMT for a while, like you said. A security guy. I'm sorry, I said EMT. Security guy at a housing project here in the Bay Area. We found other things that we could find. And they were there. They were obvious, W-2s and that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I was very close to Douglas for 2 or 3 years. But then something very strange started to happen. And I can say this because I think he's talked about it publicly on air. He started taking Prozac because he was depressed.
Okay.
And I'm probably the biggest fault for that all happening because he was getting really depressed. There were a lot of strange things happening in his apartment. I think he was becoming a slightly targeted individual in some way, but I think he brought it upon himself. I think the neighborhood didn't like him. Who knows? He's a very strange individual, and a lot of people don't get him, and I get that. And he's very prejudiced against Americans.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
he really thinks that the Japs won the war, and things are the way they are. And I get that. I mean, everybody can have their opinion. I don't mind that, but whatever. But if you start shoving it down your neighbor's throat, you're not going to be liked. It's that simple. So he was getting depressed. I don't blame him for being depressed. I said, go to the doctor, get some drugs. I mean, it'll feel better, right? Do something.
Go to the street corner, get some drugs, right?
Well, he wouldn't do that. See, that's the interesting thing about Douglas. He doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs. And I had to convince him to go get checked out by somebody and get some help. So he did. He went, he got it, he took them. And then I swear to God, within 3 weeks of taking Prozac, he turned into this crazy man.
Oh, wow.
And it was like the drugs completely, he used to listen to me. I used to say, Douglas, don't do that. I said, it makes you look like you're an idiot, When you're asked a question, don't answer it like that because you're an idiot. I mean, I'm a good manager.
Red alert?
I knew how to, what?
Red alert?
Yeah, red alert, right?
Red alert.
I should have.
Hey, Douglas, your story makes no sense. So, yeah, red alert. Red alert.
Yeah. And I should have seen the red flags coming more quicker and faster, but they were very far apart with him.
Right.
I didn't have that much trouble with him, actually. He really did do what I asked him to do. He became very professional in his mannerisms and how he delivered a presentation, which was wonderful because that's part of my job. My job is to make whoever I'm helping and mold them into a professional instead of like a bimbo head or an idiot on the stage, right?
Right.
So, but I swear to God, in 3 weeks, he's a different person. I'm standing there and he starts accusing me of stuff, and he got much more paranoid on the drugs. Anyhow, long story short, it just got so insane. And the things that were coming out of his mouth were so insane. I just finally said, look, our contract, now, here's the other part of the story that nobody knows. I had signed a contract with him that I was 50-50 partners in Dietrich Productions.
Okay.
And it was a corporation, okay? And we had a contract in play that the corporation would dissolve on December 31st, 2015. And all he had to do was, this was the summer of 2014, all he had to do was write out the contract, right? And just do what I asked him to do and make appearances on radio, and I'd book his gigs and, whatever. And he went on air in August of that year and told everybody that I was a horrible person and that he was firing me. And then he never returned a phone call from that point on. And so he basically, by him not acknowledging me and not being in partnership with me, he dissolved the corporation, and that was the end of it. So,
wow.
At that point, I pulled the website down, which he got furious about. And I said, look, I'm 50-50 partners in this website because it's under our corporate name, and I'm not leaving it up there for me to get harassed over. So if you want to build a website, you go right ahead and you do it on your own, under your own power, because
right.
I don't want this up there. Okay. And he didn't understand that. He went ballistic on me on the radio for 6 months after that, I heard.
No way.
Longer. Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm being a little bit sarcastic because my estimation of Douglas Dietrich is he's a bit of a loose cannon, if you could see, you know what I mean, to be fair.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was wild. And I do admit that, it wasn't the best decision in my life. But I did learn a lot from Douglas. I learned that I will never be anybody's manager again.
Okay. Good for you.
I learned the biggest lesson in my life, that I will never do that again. So
that's how you live. That's how you grow, right? You got to have the experiences to grow.
And I admit it freely. Everybody in the Bay Area knows about it. Everybody laughs at me. They come up to me and go, yeah, you learned your lesson the hard way, didn't you, kid? And I'm like, yes, I did. Have sympathy. It's pretty funny, actually. So, yeah, so there's a couple, from the heart stories.
That was amazing. No, listen, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because those are amazing revelations. Those are really great stories. And you obviously have a lot of info. And I'll tell you, for what it's worth, we got a ton of people in the live chat. And I got to tell you, sister, you're a hit. They're demanding to hear more of you. So I know that you're going to do
appreciate it because I am fighting a battle that is so difficult to fight. And
Okay.
CW knows this. It's, I'm fighting a downhill battle because I'm just getting kicked down the hill every day by these people who have made it to the top of the hill that think they're all that. And I know, and I got stories you guys wouldn't believe. For some bizarre reason, I am the person that everybody goes to tell the dirt about all these guys at the top of the heap.
Stop.
And I've got stories that'll blow your mind, CW. Just blow your mind. But I did tell one, and I will take one more minute to tell the story or two, and then I've got to go.
I understand.
There's a guy on Ancient Aliens. I cannot say his name or I will get sued from here to, be Jesus.
Okay.
A good friend of mine that used to come, I run a MUFON meeting here in Petaluma, California, and believe me, it's not a normal MUFON meeting. even Jan Harzen, the director of MUFON, says Lorian's got a black sheep MUFON meeting going. If you want,
wow,
meeting, Anyhow, so, and I am known as the black sheep of MUFON. It's a long story, but someday I'll tell you about it. And the reason we know I'm the black sheep of MUFON is because Jan Harzen has my phone number on speed dial and he answers when I call, okay? So there you go. That should tell you a lot right there. Anyhow, let's see, where was I? Which story? Oh, yeah. Okay. Ancient Aliens, dude. A good friend of mine comes up to me at an event I'm at, and he says, Lorian, I'm here to see so-and-so. And I said, why? And he goes, well, I used to live in his backyard unit. He used to be my landlord, and I used to live in his in-law cottage. I go, really? I said, oh, that's interesting. And he goes, yeah. He goes, we left on bad terms. And I go, oh, really? What happened? And he proceeds to tell me this horrible story. He says, I was doing a lot of painting at the time. I was working for a contractor, and of course it isn't in California. I had to go to another state to do this paint job.
So wait, the landlord was the Ancient Aliens guy.
Yes.
Okay. I got confused a little. There you go.
Okay. So my buddy's living in his in-law cottage in the back. My buddy gets a puppy, okay? And he's absolutely in love with this puppy. 2 weeks into having the puppy, he, and I don't know if he was allowed to have pets or not, okay? So right. I don't know that part of the story. But the puppy was there for 2 weeks, and apparently no one flipped out in the 2-week period of time. So I'm assuming he probably asked, and I'm assuming this Ancient Aliens guy said it was okay. Okay, I'm just assuming that. I don't know, folks, and he could have been violating his rental agreement. I don't know, but that's not the point to the story. It gets stranger here. Okay, so he has to go off to another state, which is over 100 miles away, across state lines, to do this paint job, and it's far away, and he has his girlfriend coming over during the day to feed and take care of the puppy after work, okay? And she's not staying there, so the puppy's in the house for about a week crying, okay? And I get that. I get that that's a horrible thing to do to a puppy, but they didn't have anybody to babysit it, and he couldn't afford it, the whole 9 yards. But instead of being the Ancient Alien dude, instead of saying, oh my God, there's a puppy locked in the cottage. Okay, I'll go take it out and play with it a little bit during the day and, be with the puppy, Instead of doing that, he opens the door, grabs the puppy, takes it to the local humane society kill shelter, and tells them the puppy has parvo, it's sick, and it's going to die. Please put it down.
Oh my God.
Now,
oh my God.
I know. We know it's a fact because when my friend got back home and no puppy was there, the Ancient Aliens dude told them the dog escaped and they had no idea where it was, but that he should go check the pound, thinking the pound would have no idea about him dropping the puppy off 4 days ago and killing it, right? So he goes to the pound and he shows a picture to the lady behind the counter, and she goes, "Oh, that's that puppy we had euthanized a couple days ago." And he just about melted into the floor because he really was in love with this puppy already. And the girl says, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know, your father came in and told us he was really sick." And he goes, "That wasn't my father." And he left. But he knows that's what happened. And I said, "Oh my God, are you kidding?" Now, folks, I'm not, I'm an animal lover. So my problem with this is, if this guy can do this to a little puppy, what kind of person is that? Do I want to really, I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing just bothered me to the point of insanity. That's all I got to say.
So I know you can't say this person's name. Can you give us a hint?
No, I cannot. Because I have been told already that if I say
right. So was this dude at the conference looking for him to give this guy a piece of his mind or kick his ass?
Yeah, my friend is very timid.
Okay.
And very soft-spoken and very sweet. And I think he just wanted to go say hi to him and shake his hand and whatever. I don't think he would ever bring it up again, to be honest with you. And I was surprised he told me the story, but he was so sincere and he was so heartbroken when he told me the story, folks. It has to be true. There's no way.
Oh my God.
People can't make something like that up. And why would you, right? It's just, it was so out of the blue. And I was so upset after I heard this. It just never, that bothers me more than all the lying, stealing.
No, that's like
plagiarism. It just, my heart broke. It was like,
no, that's like, I'm like, oh my, that's incredible.
I know. Yeah, I know. So it's like, oh my God, this is real. So there you go, folks. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I get to know about all these people. And then when I see them on TV and stuff, my heart just, like, my stomach turns and I want to throw up.
I'm gonna ask you one question. At the time that your friend was staying at this dude's house, how old was your friend?
He was young. He was probably, he's in his 40s now. I would say, he said it was a long time ago. It was before he ever became famous. It was when he was like in his early 20s, I think. Yeah.
So wait,
yeah.
So your friend eventually became famous?
No. It was long before the Ancient Aliens dude became famous.
So the Ancient Aliens dude was in his
No. The Ancient Aliens dude, I don't know how old he was. My friend was in his early 20s, maybe 23, 24, 25.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, and now I know he's in his early mid 40s.
And we know they thought that it was his father. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Ancient Aliens dude, they just called him his father at the place.
Right.
Because they thought he was his dad,
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay. Is he a regular on Ancient Aliens? Is he one of the big leagues?
I can't say. I cannot say. But I'll tell you what, I can't watch the show anymore.
Okay. And we know that he's got a cat. I'm not gonna do this to you. While you're in the air, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for you are a hotbed of information. You're like the CW chanter of CW chanters. Oh my God, you're dishing the real dirt.
I swear to God, and I keep this stuff all to myself most of the time. But my followers, my 8 years of radio followers, almost going on 9 years now, they all know that about once a month I'll drop a big nugget for them.
Nice.
So yeah, they get it. They understand what's going on here. They know I'm in the battle, so they're all good, and they just wait for that once a month nugget. Yeah. So yeah, because something's always rearing its ugly head at me, and I don't know how I got to be singled out, but I do get the dirt, the scoop, and the boop.
There you go. Well, we don't want to make you late for your next show.
Yeah, I do have to go, folks, and thank you guys all for sticking around.
You got so much love, and when you watch this back on YouTube, you'll see the live chat. You're getting so much love. It's everyone's in love with you. So you definitely have to come back.
So wonderful. Thank you guys, and I love CW Chanter. I swear to God, he kept me going this last week.
Well, absolutely stay in touch, and absolutely look at your schedule and think if there's time that you could come on my show, because I would love to repay the favor and have you on over here.
Oh, I'd love to come on and we'll drop some more bombs. How's that?
That sounds amazing. That sounds perfect.
Okay, great. Good night, everybody. Good night, CW.
Good night, my friend. Good night. God bless. It was a pleasure making your company.
You too, dear. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, what a show. What a show. Now, okay. We got to find out who this guy is, Marty. We got to find out who am I doing Doc Brown, or am I doing whatchamacallit, kind of an ad hoc Jesse Ventura? I don't know who this guy is, but I know this. I'm going to hunt him down like I hunted Predator. I'm going to get him with the big machine gun I carried in Predator. And the black dude that shaved with no soap. Oh my God. That last story was nuts. So if this kid was in his 20s, right? Right. It's got to, because she can't watch it. So it's got to be a regular. Yeah, right. You know, I don't watch Rick and Morty. I don't. When I put this thing on, I'm doing straight. We need 10,000 gigawatts of net power to figure out who this fucking asshole who killed the puppy is. Who the kills a puppy? And you know, once we figure out who this mother is, it's going to be one of the king of the white lighters. Who's that guy? William Ramsey? No, who could it be? It's a regular. We know it's got to be a regular because she couldn't watch the show. So it's got to be a repeat performer. It's a regular and an older person. Which one's Jonathan Young? Yo, let me hold on, Arlo. It's share screen time. We're searching. We're doing some searching. What's this guy's name? Jonathan Young? Oh, no, hold on, buddy. You gotta move on. Hold on. Ancient Aliens. No, from the Joseph Campbell Archives? He's 74 years old. Come on, application window. There you go. No. Dude. Hold on, let me pull up the live chat. Don't speculate until I get to the live chat. He was in California. He's the head of the Joseph Campbell Foundation. There's no way. And he's a psychologist. Google Ancient Aliens cast. That's the next one. Hold on, guys. Oh, wait. I don't want to hold on. I'll stop sharing for a second because I don't want you to be like, all the sleuths will be like, they'll take a look at my friggin' search bar and shit, and they'll be like, Ancient Aliens cast. Here we go. Oh my God. Dude. So many possibles. Let's do a hot list. Let's do a hot list. Hold on. We'll go through it one by one. Right? Check this out. Is this your card? David Hatcher Childress. The David Hatcher Childress. No. The hair guy is way too young. Now, no, could it be? No, because check this out. Hold on. Wait. Let's do this. Hold on. Oh, wait, let me do this. Stop sharing the screen. I mean, all circumspect about my stuff, yo. Hold on, watch this. Go back. Wikipedia. It's Wikipedia's dude. American author. Ba. Born in France. Dude. She'll just move. Ba. Where's he live now? No, he lives in Kenton, Illinois. So it can't be him. Can't be him. Not David. Not David Childress. And Robert Bouval is friggin' he lives in, to the best of my knowledge, he lives in Egypt. Or at least he did before. I think he may have passed away. Let's dude. He's directed by. Writing credits. Series cast. Okay. Eric Van Dyken. Philip Coppens was in. We're gonna have to do all these people one by one. Philip Coppens was in 56 episodes. A guy named Jason Martell. William Henry I could not never believe that it was William Henry. The dude with money, right? Because he's gonna sue somebody into the ground. There's no way it's Robert Scorch, right? That would be a revelation. Make sure I got the chat up here. Jason Martell? Which was Jason Martell? Let me do Jason Martell. Here we go. Can't believe we're on this hunt. Hold on, wait. Bear with me, guys. No, there's no way. He's way too young. He's way too young. Way too young. Wild Goose Chase. He's way too young. Way too young. There's no way. He's way too young. Mike Barra doesn't come from. I don't think he has the resources. Not Graham Hancock. He's overseas. Michael Cremo would never do it because Michael Cremo is a Krishna consciousness. William Bramley. Could it be Richard Dolan? We're going from the bottom to the top. Oh no, these are the people. So okay, so we know IMDb has these people listed by episode. Let me check in with the live chat. See how we're doing. Who could be father and son? He's in his 40s. So the guy this, when did this story happen? The story happened before this guy was. She said before this guy was famous. Before this guy was famous. Robert Clotworthy. He's himself and a narrator. There's no way. The narrator? Who's Philip Coppens? He died in 2012, so that seems like a bad fit. I'm on this guy like wine rice. No, not that dude. There's no way. Not Philip Coppens. But I'm sorry to see Philip. So it sounds like Philip Coppens passed away. Oh, dude. You know it's Psycho Jan. Oh my God, David Wilk. It can't be William Henry. It can't be George Norrie because it was before he was famous. Who's this guy? Michael Denman. Oh. Oh no, this is like one of the like legit guys though. This is one of the like legit scientist dudes. Watch this. See what you think, guys. Oh, he was his university professor. Well, was he a psycho? No, 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 no. Breach 1, 2, 3. Don't get it confused. So here's the story. Here's the story. Her friend had a puppy. The friend's landlord, who ended up becoming famous on Ancient Aliens, killed the puppy. Right? He was old enough to be confused for the guy's father. The guy was in his 20s when it happened, so the guy had to at least been in his 40s or 50s. Right? But this guy's from like the University of like somewhere, but he's not. Doesn't seem like the type. I don't know. We're gonna. I'm going through everybody. We are finding the dude. I'm like hunting this guy. I am hunting this guy like Mossad hunts the friggin' Nazis. Could it be William Henry? I refuse to believe. These are the guys. The guys that are on every episode is Robert Clotworthy was on 105 episodes, 145 episodes. He's the narrator. Number two in number of episodes is George Stacoulis, who's too young. Then it's David Childress, but he doesn't live in L.A. Then it's Jonathan Young, who totally lives in L.A. And he's the founding curator of the Joseph Campbell Archives. Should we dig? I'm going to ask the live chat. Jonathan Young, do we need to dive deep? Anyone who thinks that it's worth looking into, see if we can look at Jonathan Young's Wikipedia page and see if he's but Clodworthy is the narrator and she says sees the guy, so it wouldn't be him. And it would also be a guy who appears, dude, cross-reference time. It's a guy who appears at conferences. So it wouldn't be the Eric von Däniken. Dude, let's take a look at Jonathan Young. We might have to take another look. Oh my god. He lectures often at major universities, most recently at the UCL School of Medicine. While not traveling to speak on the Symposium of Mythic Stories, Dr. Young lives with his cat in an old house in Santa Barbara, California. Specifically LA Expo. Hold on. Pasadena, Baltimore. Guests. William Henry. Kevin Burns. Gregory Postman. I don't know, guys. Sorry. Hold on. Ancient aliens. Let's go to his Wikipedia page. Okay, who's ready for this? Wait, but didn't he say the guy had a wife? Did she say the guy had a wife? William Henry lives in Nashville. Ah. Who's been to the dude? We gotta crowdsource the news here. We gotta crowdsource the news here. And when we find out who this mother is, I swear to God, if you thought I gave Corey Good a hard time, this dude apparently has actual fucking blood on his hands. Puppy blood. I don't care. I don't care if it's a turn off to the audience. Dude, this guy's gonna get, you're getting hunted. Like, I swear to God, it's going down friggin', what's that name of that movie? Munich. We're going after this dude Munich style, okay? They're going to tell stories about the day CW Shannon. And when I show up, I'm going to be wearing this wig. I'll be like, yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Puppy killer. Yo. Puppygate. 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 Hashtag Puppygate. I swear to God. Cliff Eye. Yo, here's the story. Here's the story. Someone fill Cliff Eye in as I keep on searching. This is crazy. The puppy story is a red herring. Stop it, Tom. You're COINTELPRO shell. F1 for your COINTELPRO shell. You're NASA Freemason. You got NASA Freemason written all over you. Somebody killed the puppy, Cliff. If I'm lying, dude, Cliff, you can do this. Cliff, this is the story. Okay, so Lauren Fenton comes on, and she tells a story. She had a friend who was a young man. When the young man was about his 20s, he rented a backyard cottage from a dude, in Southern California. The dude later went on to become famous. The landlord went on to become famous on Ancient Aliens. Here's the story. This guy, this renter, has a puppy, okay? And he goes away and leaves it in the apartment for like 2 weeks, but his girlfriend's going in to check on it. Okay, the girlfriend goes in to check on the puppy on the regular, but the puppy's there for a lot of time by itself, okay? This dude, the landlord, goes in, gets the puppy, takes the puppy to the pound, tells the pound the puppy has parvo, and has it put down. The renter, when he comes back, the guy said, oh, I don't know what happened. I guess it ran away. He goes to the pound looking to see if the puppy got reported there or showed up there. They look and they see the picture of the puppy. They go, oh, your father was here. And he brought the puppy in and said the puppy had parvo and we needed to put it down. So there's a dude on Ancient Aliens who killed the puppy. She wouldn't drop the name on who the dude was because she didn't want to get sued. So now we're trying to figure out who this Ancient Aliens bro is. So it's a dude who she said the guy came for money. So the guy had to come for money because she was scared that he would sue her. And this story happened before the guy was famous on Ancient Aliens. So this is a guy who would have been able to look like he appeared like the father of a 20-something-year-old years ago. I know this is like, can you do anything? Can you help us? Can you webbot this? Can you search we're all a little psychic. Can you do something? Can you do a magical bot power move to figure out? Here's the people that we're looking at. This guy, check this out. Oh my God. I don't know, dude. I like Jonathan Young for this. Hold on. Let's go back. Share screen. Application window. Let's go through the Wikipedia page. Better just do that. Better be on the safe side. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Stop. Jonathan Young, born September 29th, 1944, is a psychologist who became the founding curator of the Joseph Campbell Archives. Young developed an interest. This is fair use to Wikipedia. We're doing this for scientific research. We have to find a puppy killer. Young developed an interest in the teaching functions of stories through early exposure to folklore. He was one of six children to a much-traveled family. His parents read and discussed the lore of each place they visited, such as Copenhagen, Hamlin, Baghdad, India, and Japan. His graduate studies focused on psychology of stories and included work with Viktor Frankl, whoever those Operation Paperclip people were. He earned his PhD in clinical psychology from Allen International University. Where's that? Main campus is in San Diego, California. Career. Best known for his saga, Best New Writings of Mythology, assisted mythologist Joseph Campbell for many years in seminars. In addition to the Campbell archives, he organized collections of psychologist James Hillman, yada yada. As a professor, Young created and chaired mythological studies department at Pacifica Graduate University, also in Santa Barbara, California. Working with Jungian theories such as, dude, this guy's got a shadow problem, dude. In 1995, Dr. Young launched the Center for Story and Symbol in Santa Barbara, California. He continues the work of Joseph Campbell through the center's programs. He presents seminars and internationally on the use of mythic stories, blah, 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 Hero's Journey, da, da, da. UCLA, Notre Dame, Oxford, Pacifica, hold on, Pacifica Graduate University. Again, in Santa Barbara. History Channel, Star Wars, The Legacy Revealed. He also, blah, 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 Ancient Aliens. Boom. External links, biography. Jonathan Young biographical sketch. Dr. Young is a professor at the University of Philosophical Research in Los Angeles. Got California all over him. Got California all over him. And he appears, hold on, where is he? In 67 of 145 episodes. He is the fourth highest frequent appearing guest on Ancient Aliens. Next, followed by Eric Van Dyken, who doesn't live in LA. Followed by Philip Coppens and Jason Martell and David Wilcock, all too young. William Henry, all too young. George Norrie, too young because she said that he was famous before, only after Ancient Aliens. So, how famous was Jonathan Young before Ancient Aliens? Where am I? Hold on. There's no way Jay Widener doesn't live in L.A. And she said that he wasn't famous before Ancient Aliens, and he appears on Ancient Aliens enough that she can't watch it. And Jay Widener pops in every once in a while. There's no way, dude. But dude, think about it. Let me ask you this. So, if there's any part of us that wants to think that it can't be this guy because he's a Jungian psychologist, right? It's always the friggin' psychologist, right? Oh my god. The Ancient Aliens guy back in the day was old enough to appear like the father of a 20-something-year-old, which means he had to be at least in his 40s, which means he would be in his 60s today. Hold on. Bear with me. Where is his Wikipedia page? Seminar dates and location. Suicide in the Soul, Law and Ethics, Suicide in the Soul. This is what this guy teaches about. Oh my god. Doing education information. What? Psychology? Yeah, what is this? Oh, we got an address here. The Center for Story and Symbol. Hold on. Okay, we're ready to do. Hold on. Street view. Do right here. Okay. There's the center. Let me matrix this shit. See what's going on here. We get a view. I don't know if we go down here. We go back here. Let's take me back there. My little guy. Move this guy. Hold on. Expand. I don't know why I think I'm doing this. This does anything. Public alley. No. Something. I don't know what this is supposed to be doing. Hold on, wait. Go back in time. I don't know. Dude. Look at this. But this totes kind of looks like the place where you could have like the background, you know what I mean? The side apartment in the back, right? What's this street behind it? Take me there. Oh my god. Where's the original location? I have no idea. I have no idea where I am. Hold on, wait. This is where I want to be, right here. Street view me here. Oh no, come on, little guy. Come on. If that's the location, I want my little guy. I want this guy. Come on, street view. Okay. Let's go right in front of it there. Oh my god. I have no idea what we're looking at. But all I know is that this totally looks like the guy. I want Jonathan Young for this murder. Oh my god. Let me go back to where you guys are. I probably lost I'm down like 20 viewers. We're done. Oh, it's 11:08. We're done. We're done, right? What do we think? There's the roofs. They have sublets all the time. That's Santa Barbara. Yep. Mother-in-law apartment. Reaching a little on the location. Okay. At least for Santa Barbara. Dude, Pingo up the street level view. This is fair enough. Fair enough. We don't want to go too crazy. Dude, we are all, does everybody type 1 if you think that we should type 1 if you're interested. If you'd be interested, we wouldn't be able to reach any conclusions, of course. And we're telling our apologies to Jonathan Young. We're all obviously having a little fun here. We have no idea if it's you or not, or who the person is, or if the story's even true, right? We have no idea if the story's even true. But if you're interested in crowdsourcing the news and you'd like to participate in a CW Chanter Fun Time Investigation Type 1, Mario, Heat, Brandon Young. Okay, I won't even announce people's names. If you're interested, right? Robert Eldridge, Voice of Wisdom, is like, I don't know about this. Get Brandon on the phone. Look at and then certain people have famous ones that they want, but he wasn't famous before Ancient Aliens. How? Okay, so last thing. Okay, last thing we're gonna do. Last thing we're gonna do. Last thing that we're gonna do. Distance between the pound. There you go. That's so many interesting questions. Hold on, hold on. What was it? What was it? It was something I was gonna look up. It wasn't distance from the pound. It was what was it? Oh, how many times has Jay Widener been on Ancient Aliens? And also, who's this William J. Barnes? Have we already looked at that guy? Has Jay Widener been on Ancient Aliens a lot? Where am I looking? I don't know. See, here's the thing. Where's Jay Widener? Oh, there's been so many people that have just been on one episode. That can't possibly be it, right? Hold on, let me go to the top here. Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. I'm on the page. Hold on. Cast. So the way that IMDb has it is it does it in people that have been on the number of episodes. The only person that's been on 100% of the episodes is the narrator. But she said C. David Childress doesn't live in the right location. Jonathan Young has been on 67 with 145 episodes. He's number 4 on the list, besides Eric Van Dyken, who again doesn't live in LA. Jason Martell is too young. David Wilcock, too young. William Henry, I can't conceive of it. William Henry was not famous before Ancient Aliens. We're gonna do this. Ancient Aliens. Oh, I don't know now. Look at this guy. Just look at this guy. Hold on. And we'll stop in a minute. I swear to Jesus, we'll stop in a minute. Look at this guy. Oh my God. This is true. We're all being crazy. I'm being crazy irresponsible. I'll stop. I'll listen to the voice of wisdom. Voices of wisdom. Cliff High. The responsibility is with the person who was the renter who left the puppy alone. Therefore, the waves spread outward. You do not leave puppies alone. Agreed. Agreed. If the girlfriend could come by and visit the puppy, she could have stayed with the puppy. That's my other attitude about it. Nick Pope doesn't live in L.A. This is true. But dude, breach 1, 2, 3, kind of, you know what I mean? Hold on. Oh, he's got those crazy eyes. He's got those crazy eyes. He's got those crazy eyes. It's like find the killer ASMR. Display memory. It's not a guy display memory. Let's go. Hold on. Biggity bam. Oh my god. Is it William Henry? I don't know, dude. About Nashville-based author. Okay. Whew. William Henry. Dude, it's getting pretty thin on the ground. Oh my God. Oh, it's getting pretty thin on the ground. It's totally fucking Lecter, dude. That's it. We're all gonna wrap it up. SSPSMR. So there you go. And then when I saw the ancient aliens, I saw them over here, and then I saw them over here. I think the guy that was sweet was the renter. He's been on Cosmic Disclosure. Justice for Spot. Hashtag Justice for Spot. In context, all we did is support the believing theory that's totally true. I just want to say ASMR threats. You're out there somewhere and you killed a puppy. We're gonna come get you. We're gonna watch every episode of Ancient Aliens. We're gonna cross-reference everything. And we're gonna show up where you live. And we're gonna bring 1,000 puppies with us. And they're all gonna shit on your lawn. They're gonna shit over here. And then they're gonna shit over here. And then we're gonna let them go right up to your doorstep. And you're gonna try and sleep, and they're gonna be all like, yeah, cross search. If you thought that I gave Corey Good a hard time, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. Okay, we're joking around. We're kidding. We need to cast no aspersions on anybody. Voice of wisdom say, we're taking a hearsay story, way too far. We're having fun with this. This whole little thing is in no way, shape, or form designed to impugn or be. What is touch the camera? Why is that a thing? I've never seen people touch the camera. Is the touching the camera thing? The microphone's not on the camera, so I don't know why touching the camera would be a thing. Oh. David Morrison. Oh my God, we gotta stop this. So we're all just joking around, but we all did. Many people volunteered for the crowdsource the news. I sense a Discord server in our future. Oh my God, there you go. Why would you touch the camera? What does that do? I doubt it. No, I think it's a visual trigger. Okay. You say so. You're the expert. Okay. Entertainment only, people. Parody and satire. Parody and satire. Yes, absolutely. Did I happen to reference it? We have no idea if the story is true. We have no idea if because people could have made something up. So we're just joking around. It was all parody and satire, all parody and satire, all parody and satire. All parody satire, and we'll leave it at that. And we got 69 viewers. Wahoo! There you go. What, me? I didn't do nothing. No, they cut to the deposition testimony. Puppies? What? You mean like young, small dogs? Well, I mean, what kind of small dog are we talking about? No. That dog had parvo. It is what it is. Oh, geez, stop it. There you go. Oh, my God. Crystal ASMR coming with the heat. Jeez. Woo. There you go. Nobody's guilty. Nobody's guilty of anything. We're parody and satire. Parody and satire. Meanwhile, when the actual guy if he should ever hear about it, would be like, I know. We are totally hashtag justice for spot making that. We're gonna follow this. I guarantee you we're gonna follow this lead. I'm gonna Michael Moore this shit. It's gonna be like for my cold dead hands. It's incredible. Anyway, it's 11:20. That's late enough to be late and to know that we did a lot of work here tonight. Considering that the show started at like 8:10 or whatever, we got another 18 bajillion hours of this. This was a good show. I was a guest. we had a guest, and then we had this amazing little thing at the end. So there you go. Just another man. Don't want to get sued. You're gonna get sued. Hey, you're gonna get sued faster for name dropping a tune than you will for actually accusing somebody of puppy side, right? I guess that's the word for it. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. There you go. Listen to Lorraine's shows because she mentions it there. There you go. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. At least it's not. At least I'm not like saying anything that she hasn't said before. So wow, it was a great show. But let's wrap it up. We'll wrap it up, and we'll wrap it up by saying, oh, to the people that donated tonight, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that Robin Eagle's song is no longer here. She bounced. I saw Robert Elder. I saw Rose gave. Everyone who gave tonight. Let's see what I don't know how to do this. There should be like a way. Like, isn't there a way for me to search? There you go, Reemsey. All right, Reemsey, how you doing, baby? Beautiful to see people in there. There you go. I don't know how this works. Anyway, anyone who donated to me tonight or any other night, God bless you from the bottom of my heart. But God bless you all. God bless you all. God bless you all. If you can't give, that's fine. That's fine. That's fantastic. You, as long as you're here, showing your love and support. We had a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to Lorraine Fenton for honoring me by having me on her radio broadcast. It always means the world to me. You know, however many subscribers, how many viewers we have here, if I go on if another person invites me onto their channel, they've got 3 viewers. I'm still feeling like a rock star because I got invited somewhere. I got invited out of the house. So it really means the world to me that she had me on. It was a fantastic, fun conversation, really interesting, really wonderful. And hopefully we do it again. Hopefully we get her on again. And thank God bless her from the bottom of my heart for coming on and sticking around with us for the second half, giving us the CW Chanter kids another swing of crazy stories. Wow, crazy stories about Alex Collier, revelations, this crazy stuff. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. She's definitely got more stories to tell, and I think she definitely picked up more fans who are going to be checking out her radio show. Deets in the description box below. I think that you can use those to get to her website and get to her other programming. And there you go. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Everyone who hanged out, everyone in the live chat, wonderful, 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 wonderful to see you around. It really was a wonderful show. And at that hour, I will say, dueling SMR with Crystal and CW. That's got to happen, right? Dude, we could do a whole interview ASMR style. So, Crystal, when did you get involved in ASMR? I couldn't hear that. That'd be wonderful. We should do that. Let's do a collabo. Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's lock it in. Let's make it happen. So, I first got into Corey Good when he started appearing on the left-hand side of the dial. And then when he started appearing on the right. Feathers, hello. The show writes itself, right? Oh my God. Let's make it happen. Let's do this. Let's do that. That's gonna be awesome. Let's do that. Let's set an intention. Oh, another thing, the show that we did with Robert Gauthier and Karen Newman on what was it? Saturday? Did we do it on Saturday or did we do it on Sunday? For whatever reason, it's not uploading properly. I don't know if it's back up now, but that's what people were noticing that was missing, or they could only see part of it. I'm going to have to contact YouTube and figure it out because that was a great show too. We had a great weekend of programming. We really did. We had Groovy Bean back on. It was a really, really, really amazing time. Amazing series of programming. A lot more female voices on the CW Chanter channel for a while, for a change, which has been great. Thank you to Occult Priestess for coming on. Thank you to Karen Newman for coming on. Thank you to Groovy Bean for coming on. Thank you to Modwiz for coming on. Gotcha. There you go. Love to everybody. Check out Modwiz. I know he was recording too. It's his normal time for today. I think it's his normal time for Holistic teleological something, his show. There you go. So it was an awesome time. An awesome time was had by all. Awesome time was had by me. I hope you guys had an awesome time. We will continue. We'll continue. We'll continue. We'll continue. We'll keep on rocking in the free world. If you've got any ideas for guests, reach out and let me know. But in the meantime, I will simply say, hey, I am really, really, really into the way that I've been closing videos lately. I really, really, really like it. I've been probably doing it for a while, unbeknownst to me, but now it's really becoming the thing. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I mean this in all sincerity. I can completely understand why the thing that I'm about to say could sound crazy, could sound either insincere or like love bombing or whatever, but it's the truth. It's the truth. If you are watching this right now, if you've made it to the end, well, guess what? Not because you made it to the end, but just because you're alive and you're conscious and you're thinking and you're experiencing this with us, and then you're making me exist in your world when you watch this. God bless you. Thank you. God just bless you. Thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I really do. If nobody told you that they loved you today, guess what? Somebody just did. I love you. And I'll talk to you guys real soon. Okay? Till next time.